Welcome to Sunday Night with Old Time Radio. We begin with the second episode, the second part of Tales from the Morgue. We follow with Jerry at the Circus. We have again a story from Red Book entitled The No Man, comedy with a great Gildersleeve. We move on then to Dam Busters. We're doing something a little bit different tonight, in that we're going to close with not the Dam Busters, but Dr. Danfield. This is something new, but the sound quality is really not what I would not call it ideal. We're placing Dr. Danfield last, so if you just cannot tolerate the sound quality, you can stop your listening and not miss any of the other programming. We won't be playing more of Dr. Danfield unless we can find some better quality recordings. So all that said, let's begin.
Come right in, my friend. Yes, have yourself a seat. I am Chet Chetter, the morgue attendant and resident storyteller. You may recall our last story ended with quite a cliffhanger. It all began when a satellite re-entered the Earth's atmosphere and landed in the small town of Biloxi. A local and popular resident, Elmer Korn, discovered a toll-free number printed on the side of the satellite.
It says, property of Innovatrix, a private firm. If this satellite falls to Earth, please call 1-800-BIG-BANG. Big Bang, that don't sound good.
The word quickly got to Sir Goldenspoon, a supervisor of an independent scientific research firm.
This is horrible, Van Swizzle. You say the satellite has fallen to Earth?
Yes, indeed, and they also reported that it was humming.
Humming? Zounds. That means that it is still functioning.
Goldenspoon and his assistant immediately took a flight to Biloxi. However, before they could arrive, the satellite began producing a powerful magnetic pull. The magnetic field was so great, in fact, that Elmer Korn was sucked back in his truck and pinned to the satellite's side.
I'm sliding into that thing. Bad job. The truck is collapsing in on me. It's like being in a garbage compactor.
All attempts to free Mr. Korn from his mangled truck failed. When Sir Goldenspoon and his assistant arrived, they informed the sheriff that the satellite was designed to test an antimatter implosion in space. The implosion's detonation time was pre-calculated to go off in just 20 minutes.
20 minutes? Good Lord, boys, we got a problem. Elmer Korn's caught in his pickup truck, and it's clinging to the side of that satellite.
In order to stop the implosion, a certain wire inside the satellite had to be disconnected, and only one person could fit in such a small space. That was Cecil Ferris, Elmer's best friend.
I can dislocate my shoulders. Watch this. Ugh.
With Cecil's dislocated shoulders, he was able to fit in the allotted space with not an inch to spare. Unfortunately, Mr. Ferris was colorblind and unable to identify the correct wire to dislocate. And there was another problem.
Jeepers, I'm stuck!
Lord have mercy, he can't get out of there. Hang on, Cecil. Me and Roland will get you out. Sheriff, deputy, come back.
My worst fear confirmed.
Hang in there. We're gonna throw a rope into you, Cecil.
Yeah, don't panic, old boy.
Somebody tell me what the hell's going on!
They're gone. The police officers, Mr. Korn, Mr. Ferris, all gone. I've killed them all.
We are gathered here today to pay our last respects to 4 courageous men. Sheriff McElroy, Deputy Huckabee, Elmer Korn, and Cecil Ferris. Mr. Ferris risked his life to save his best friend, Mr. Korn, and earned this headline on the Biloxi Gazette. Cecil Ferris, our hero. Mr. Korn was already an established hero with saving our town from mutant mole rats, and the sheriff and his deputy were heroes in their own right. They will all be sorely missed. Let's bow our heads in prayer.
Meanwhile, over 1 million years into the future...
Pardon me, sir, but I seem to have lost my way. Do you think you could point me the way to Larry's Liquor Palace?
Silence, flesh creature. It is time for you to enter the arena. Face the entrance and do not speak.
Say, you look like a toxin fire hydrant. I must really be loaded. Say, would you light my cigar? I fell asleep in the gutter and got my matches wet.
Silence! It is beneath me to speak to flesh creatures. You reek of a foul odor, and you are intoxicated.
That's an
Open the arena doors now.
Wait just a cotton-picking minute. Boy, those are big doors. Where are we going?
Silence! Walk forward into the arena, flesh creature. Do not make me use the electronic probe.
I want to know what the heck is going on. Ow! Okay. Don't shock me no more. I'm walking. You bully. All I wanted was some Bloody Mary mix anyway. Hey, what the heck is this place? Some kind of newfangled indoor stadium or something?
Hello, flesh creature, can you hear me?
I hear you, but I can't see you.
Oh, very good. Welcome to the arena, flesh creature. You have been brought here to confront Terratron, the beast of steel. Do you have anything to say before we release the creature?
I don't know what you're talking about, but I gotta go to the bathroom real bad.
Oh, dear. They never have anything intelligent to say. Very well, let us begin. Do try to put on a good show, flesh creature. You are being televised throughout the world. Release Terratron now.
My God, what the heck is that? It looks like a Tyrannosaurus Rex made out of a giant erector set. Now, you just keep your distance, big boy. I'm a veteran, pal. I've been trained in hand-to-hand combat, and you just stay away from me.
Terratron has consumed the flesh creature, Master.
Yes, I have side senses, Micron. I am aware of this. Oh, how disappointing. He didn't even struggle. It's becoming tiresome. Every day is the same as another. We send a flesh creature into the arena and he is consumed by Terratron. Where is the challenge, I ask you?
The nerve center of the human was dulled by alcohol, Master. Perhaps we could send a flesh creature of higher intelligence to confront Terratron. one that is not heavily intoxicated.
An intriguing concept, Micron, but you know there's a great risk involved. We cannot retrieve a flesh creature that is too intelligent.
There are 4 flesh creatures in prison facility 20, Master. At first glance, their intelligence appears average. However, they are sober, and they have arrived by their own means. We did not retrieve them.
Arrived by their own means? But that is impossible. The flesh creatures never perfected time travel. Oh. Prepare my Land Rover, Micron. We will travel to the prison facility at once. I am very anxious to meet with these humans.
I'm just resting my eyes, Miss Crabtree. Dreaming dreams. What the heck are you?
I am a service drone. The Master will meet with you soon, human.
Huh?
Prepare to cower in fear.
Cower in fear? Well, who am I supposed to be afeard of? Hey, you walking tea kettle, come back here. Well, don't leave when the conversation's just getting good. Where the heck am I?
Elmer!
Huh?
What are you yelling at?
Cecil? Cecil!
Yeah, it's me!
Cecil, old buddy!
Elmer!
If you ain't a welcome sight, I don't know what is.
Albert, Dad,
Give me a hug, old buddy. I don't care if you are a man.
Oh, yuck, a hug!
Good Lord. Deputy. Howdy. Sheriff McElroy.
Howdy, Elmer.
Lord, what's going on, guys? Are we sharing the same nightmare or something?
Well,
It's that satellite, Elmer. When it went off, it put us into another world or something.
That satellite. That's right. I was stuck in my truck and it was hanging on to that satellite. And Cecil, you was crawling into that thing.
we didn't want to worry you, Elmer. That's why we didn't tell you what was going on. Cecil was going in there to try to dismantle the thing. The fellow what made that satellite said it was some sort of antimatter device.
Said it was going to destroy everything in a 50-meter radius.
And Cecil risked life and limb to try to stop it.
Yeah.
I don't know what to say. Except, you didn't stop it, did you, Cecil?
Well, yeah.
Good Lord. I just got a grim thought, fellers. Suppose we didn't survive when that thing went off.
Yeah, Elmer. What if we're in hell? Dang it, I should have got baptized when I had the chance.
Well, if this is hell, it sure is a disappointment. I thought it'd be a heck of a lot hotter.
Oh, I was just thinking out loud, Deputy.
Yeah.
I don't reckon we're in hell, no.
Yeah.
Well, heck, we've been living good lives, more or less.
Yeah, I know.
We ain't killed nobody.
Yeah.
And I don't expect they'd send us straight to hell without letting us stop open in purgatory to plead our case.
Well, I hope you're right, Elmer.
Sounds like a good
Dadgummit.
Enough of this mindless chatter. Be attentive, flesh creatures. You are privileged. The Master will speak with you personally. Kneel before his presence.
Kneel in 2 feet of water?
Will I be forced to use the probe?
Good Lord.
Oh, heck no, let's don't make them use the probe, guys.
Yeah,
Let's swallow our pride and kneel, all right?
Yeah, good idea, good
Yes,
idea.
good idea. Yeah, let's kneel.
Oh, my. These are the flesh creatures you spoke of, Micron. These are the time travelers.
They were discovered in the Atlantic Salt Desert, Master. No time device was found.
Excuse me there for a second, fellers. I'm Elmer Corn from Biloxi. I want to speak kind of on behalf of my friends here. We don't know where the heck we're at, but I did want to say, whatever you got in store for us, we ain't above begging for mercy if it'll do any good.
Silent human. Inform the Master how you arrived in the Salt Desert. Where is your time device?
It would be wise to answer Micron's question, flesh creature, and be advised a false answer can be easily detected. Where is your time device?
Time device? We don't have no time device.
Never had one, never will.
Analysis, Micron.
The humans speak the truth, Master.
But how could they arrive without a time device?
I think these robots are trying to tell us we're in another time. Say, where are we? When are we?
Planet Earth, year 997741 AA.
What does AA mean?
After Armageddon.
After Armageddon?
Dad.
Shocking, isn't it? These creatures obviously arrived by some sort of mysterious error. But it matters not. They will all enter the arena, but you two will go first.
Huh? Me and Cecil?
Yes. You will confront Terratron, the Beast of Steel, and your friends will watch.
Terratron. Well, sir, we'd love to in the worst way, but we all took a vote and we decided we'd much rather go home.
Yep.
Yeah. Oh, a sense of humor, how refreshing. Micron, put them all in shackles and direct them to the arena.
Welcome to the arena, flesh creatures. Before we begin, let me inform you that should you defeat Terratron, and you would be the first, your lives will be spared and those of your friends. Any final words of wisdom before we begin, my humble flesh creatures?
Well, no, it's kind of hard to come up with something witty when you think you're about to die. I would like to know why we have to go through this, though.
Oh, why, you are the entertainment. This is being televised throughout the world, so please, I beg of you, do scream for mercy and run in fear, cringe in terror, put on the best show you can. Release Terratron now.
Dadgummit, would you look at that?
Lord, it's some kind of mechanical dinosaur. Cecil, if we get out of this one, I'm going to church more often. How about you?
It's chasing me, Elmer! Ah!
Elmer, come over here to the side of the arena. I got something for you. Okay, Sheriff. Keep it running, Cecil, old buddy. I'll come back and help you in just a second. Heads up, Elmer. I'm going to fold these things down to you. Well, it's a nightstick and a tape measure. Think on your toes, Elmer. That's all I got. They took my gun away from me.
Well, heck, it's easy for you to say that, Sheriff. We're up here on the balcony.
Help, Elmer! I'm cornered like a rat!
Stay away from my buddy, you ugly mechanical critter. Come over here and eat me. I'll tear you loose from your hinges.
Elmer! It's coming your way!
Lord, what have I done? Cecil, quick! I'll throw you the receptacle end of this measuring tape, all right? I'll hold on to the measuring part.
Hurry!
Here, catch.
Got it!
Good boy. Now, you run to the left, and I'll run to the right. We're going to wrap that mama's legs with this measuring tape.
Oh, I am impressed with this display.
They got the monster tangled up in that tape. He can't move his legs.
Yeah, and he's going to fall, too. Look out, boy.
Oh, look out, Cecil!
That's the time, Cecil, that's the time. We got him on his back now. Okay, now you start pulling wires out of that thing, and I'll start wailing on him with this nightstick.
All right, Elmer!
Impressive. Oh, this is exciting.
Take this, you little varmint.
Elmer! It's got my leg!
Stand up. The critter's trying to stand up. Oh, no, you don't. That dog ain't gonna hunt. You can't stand with a broken back, you ugly. That's the end of that, Mama. Sell that sucker for scrap part.
Woo-hoo!
Oh, most impressive. Highly entertaining. Oh, you are to be commended for your efforts, flesh creatures. Oh, you will all be my guest in the palace. Micron, prepare a feast for them.
I ain't the one to look a gift horse in the chops, but this here food is a little salty.
Why, it is salt. Food is non-existent. The only thing that comes close is salt from the Atlantic Salt Desert.
Atlantic Salt Desert?
The Atlantic Salt Desert was once an ocean, stupid one. The nuclear holocaust destroyed the ozone layer. Massive global warming soon followed. All oceans evaporated. The remaining animal and plant life were destroyed as well.
You know, this has been sticking in my craw ever since you first mentioned it. This Armageddon, does it happen in our lifetime?
Negative, Doll One. It occurred in the year 2250. The old world's leaders decided that planet Earth could not be saved from inevitable doom. As a result, they put the planet out of its misery and, may I add, very discreetly.
The only intelligent beings that remained were the service robots the flesh creatures had created. The most intelligent of these was the Master 2000. Only one prototype was created.
Uh-huh. And I bet you that was you, wasn't it?
Yes. You are more intelligent than you appear, flesh creature. I was programmed to repair myself whenever necessary, and to create more of my own kind. I began to repopulate the dead planet Earth. It took 10,000 centuries, mind you, but now the world has life again.
We are a totally self-serving, non-violent, highly intelligent race. We have achieved everything the humans could not.
Boy, rubber face in it.
Now I have a question, flesh creatures. How in the world did you arrive over 1,000,000 years ahead of your time?
Well, as far as I can tell, that satellite sent us here.
Satellite? Why, you naughty creature, you never mentioned the satellite.
Well, now, you never asked us about no satellite. Yes, sir, yesterday, I guess it was, this satellite landed by accident in our hometown of Biloxi. And the fellow what made it said it was some sort of antimatter device. Said it was going to implode, destroying everything in a 50-meter radius. Well, we tried to stop it from going off, but couldn't do it. We got caught up in the implosion, and bang, here we are.
Matter cannot be destroyed, foolish one. Obviously, the satellite transformed your physical structures into minute particles and sent you through time.
How foolish of that human to think he could destroy matter. He created a time machine and did not know it. How typical. We developed time travel 400 years ago. We found a crystal in an underground bunker. It was discovered during a flesh creature expedition of the planet Mars in the year 2103 AD. Only one of these crystals exists. Of course, the flesh creatures never found a use for the crystal. But we discovered it to be a powerful source. It is the main source of power for our time device.
Well, now, you go and call yourself a non-violent race, and you sick a mechanical dinosaur on me and Cecil. And when I was in that arena, I saw a liquor bottle and a torn shirt. Has there been other people in that thing, too?
Yes, many, many. You see, over the course of several centuries, we have developed one nagging human emotion: boredom. Oh, we have nothing to do. We don't have to work, and we don't have to eat. So we require some form of entertainment. So we've been going into the past with our time machines and retrieving humans, flesh creatures, to send them into the arena.
You send folks into that arena to fight that monster just to get your dadgum kicks?
Shall I punish this flesh creature, Master, for his disrespect?
No, Micron, I can understand the human's anger. Let us go into my relaxation chamber. We can discuss these matters in a more inviting atmosphere.
All right.
Well, okay, all right. You take the lead.
Yep.
It's that way.
You see, we retrieve flesh creatures from the past, mostly what you would consider vagrants and lower-class citizens, nothing else.
Well, why don't you get some upper-scale folk?
Well, you see, if we were to abduct an intelligent flesh creature, or worse, a computer programmer, it would seriously threaten our existence. I would hate to contemplate a worst-case scenario.
Yeah, I get your drift. Like if you were to get someone who, designed robots, well, you could wipe out your own existence, couldn't you?
Exactly.
Say, that closet-looking thing over there in the corner, that ain't your time machine, is it?
Yes. But we call it a time defier.
The flesh creatures are becoming far too inquisitive, Master. I suggest we begin the entertainment extermination immediately.
Entertainment extermination?
Yes. An intelligent flesh creature can be dangerous, you see. The four of you will confront Destructicon, a much larger and more powerful killing machine. You will surely die this time.
Hell's bells, they're gonna send us back to the arena.
Negative, stupid one. Destructicon is equipped with onboard surveillance cameras. Your death will be televised worldwide. The entire palace will be your arena.
Release Destructicon now.
Right through that wall!
Jiminy Christmas. All right, everybody, quick, run into that time machine.
Kill them, Destructicon. Do not allow them to enter the time defier.
Get into that thing. Okay, come on. All right, everybody start pressing buttons and hope we can get this thing cranked up.
All right, Elmer.
Welcome to the time defier. Please press time and destination on the keyboard.
Well, I'm gonna try to punch in when we left. I just hope.
Destructicon's got us in its clutches, Elmer!
Stop, Destructicon, stop! You're destroying the time defier. It's the only one in existence.
Press the red ALAX key. Time travel will then commence.
Red ALAX key? This thing is full of red keys. Just start pressing red keys, Sheriff. Hear 'em scam and do it quick. This critter's gonna swallow us whole.
The roof's caving in on us, Elmer!
Time will now be defined.
We are gathered here today to pay our last respects to four courageous men.
Nellie!
Oh, dead, Lordy. We're here, fellers.
Yep.
Wherever here is.
Welcome to 20th century Biloxi. Population 600.
Biloxi, I'm a ground-kissing fool. We're home, fellers. Hey, look, everybody. It's Elmer and the gang.
Elmer! Oh, I'm so glad you're home.
Miss Maddox, dadgum, we landed in church.
Yeah?
What's going on here?
Well, sir, Elmer, we all figured you'd deceased, all four of you. We was holding a memorial service for you.
A memorial service for us? Dadgummit!
Walking in her own funeral, just like old Thomas Sawyer.
Say, Luella, play some happy welcome home music on that organ.
Say, Elmer, come over here.
Okay.
Should we tell everybody what we went through?
Oh, no, Cecil, I don't think so. They're having such a good time, and besides, the future, going to the robots and all that, it's best we keep it to ourselves. Well, it's a kind of a grim future, though, ain't it, Elmer? Well, Sir Sheriff, I think it's best we don't dwell on such as that. If we learned anything by all this, it's to enjoy life now.
Yeah.
And one more thing I think we've learned.
What's that?
Is to take a crowbar to that time machine.
That's a good idea.
Good idea.
Sheriff, I'm gonna get a crowbar and a sledgehammer.
Yeah, okay, you do that, Roller.
Well, now, there you are. A tale about time. Well, it's certainly good that it's fiction. An unsettling thought, the robots taking over the future. No need for morgue attendants, or morgues for that matter. When a robot runs down, you just send it to the scrap pile. Oh, you have to go, do you? Well, do return for another story next time, won't you? Until then, pleasant dreams.
Jerry of the Circus. Now for Jerry of the Circus.
Well, Sergeant, the boy's locked up for the night, but I doubt if he'll sleep much. Taking it pretty hard, poor kid.
I sure hate to lock up a youngster like that.
Yeah, seems like a nice enough kid, too.
Bad business, though, letting a young boy like that loose on the streets at night.
Sure was funny how he kept insisting he belonged to the circus. I almost believed him.
Might have believed him myself if I hadn't remembered that report.
Yeah, that O'Brien woman sure described him. I guess he's the boy she's looking for, all right.
He was probably hoping to skip with the circus when it pulls off tonight.
Poor kid. It was a pretty good story he told.
Yeah, but not quite good enough.
Hello. Are you the sergeant?
Yes, sir.
Jason's my name. I'm with the Randall Brothers Circus. I'm looking for one of our boys. Can't seem to find him anywhere, and our train leaves in just 20 minutes. Can you give me some help?
What kind of a boy? What's his name?
He's just a youngster. His name's Jerry Dugan.
Jerry Dugan?
Yeah, have you seen him?
Seen him? We got him locked up.
Locked up? For what? What's he done?
Well, we're not sure that he's done anything, but Officer Rooney here picked him up a little while ago. He was roaming around town whistling for his dog.
Well, there's no harm in that, is there?
No, but I checked through the missing persons files and finds he answers the description of a boy a woman has preferred charges against, a Mrs. O'Brien.
Charges against Jerry? For what?
Seems he disappeared owing a board bill.
Oh, but the boy belongs with the circus now.
Yeah, that's what he said, but...
He just joined us today. Mr. Randall, the owner of the circus, can vouch for him. He was a great friend of the boy's father. That's why Randall took Jerry on. Gee, it's late. We've got to make that train.
Sorry, but I guess you'll have to stay locked up for the night.
Listen, Sergeant, can I see the boy? Just for a minute. I want to make sure he's the right one.
Well, all right. Tom, bring Jerry Dugan in here.
Yes, sir.
Now listen, Sergeant. Exactly what is the complaint against this boy?
Well, this Mrs. O'Brien claims he owes her for a couple of weeks' board and room. Seems she's been trying to get the authorities to find him, with the idea of putting him in an orphanage.
Orphanage? Jerry? Listen, Sergeant. If I pay the bill in cash...
Well, we'll see when it comes up in court tomorrow.
But we've got that Ketsat train in, good heavens, 15 minutes.
Sorry, but I guess I can't help you.
But if you'd call this woman on the phone now...
At 3 o'clock in the morning?
Oh, I know it's irregular.
Irregular? It's crazy.
Sergeant, supposing you had a son and he was in trouble, but some responsible people wanted to take care of him. Now, if I pay the bill and this woman agrees over the phone to withdraw the charges, well, she won't have any reason to hold him.
It sounds simple, but at this hour...
Please, Sergeant. It may mean a real future for the boy. I know it's asking a lot, but...
It sure is, but by golly, I'll try. Now, where's her phone number now? Let me see. I got it right here somewhere.
Here he is, Sergeant.
Jason! Jason!
Jerry Dugan. You monkey, what kind of a mess have you gotten yourself into now?
Well, I was just looking for Rags. I had to find him before we left town. I was heading for where we used to live, and, well, this policeman arrested me.
Gosh, look at the time. How about it, Sergeant?
I don't know. Phone's ringing, but she's probably so sound asleep that... Oh, hello. Hello there, Mrs. O'Brien? Yeah, just a minute, Mrs. O'Brien. This is the police station. Yeah. I'm sorry to disturb you at this hour, but we've picked up the boy that you preferred charges against, and, yes, but, now, just a minute, please. Now, there's a man down here who wants to pay the boy's bill, but he's leaving town by train in 15 minutes. Yeah, he says he won't pay the bill, though, and unless you agree to withdraw the charges so he can take the boy with him. I say he refuses to pay the money unless you're willing to withdraw the charges. Yes, cash. You agree? All right, then. Come down in the morning, sign the release, and I'll turn the money over to you. And thank you, Mrs. O'Brien. Hung up on me. He's a nice customer.
Good work. What's the amount, Sergeant?
Well, now, let me see. Well, here it is. 2 weeks, room and board, $22.
22. Okay, Sergeant. Here you are.
5 and 5, and 10 is 20, and 2 is 22. All right, sir.
Thanks, Sergeant. You've done this boy a favor he'll never forget. Come on, Jerry, quick.
You think you'll make the train?
We've got to.
But I can't go, Jason. Not without Rags. I'd sooner go to the orphanage.
Well, Jerry, I found Rags. I found him.
You found him?
Sure.
Where?
Patsy took him down to the train. He's there now. Come on, quick.
Well, good luck, Jerry.
Goodbye, Sergeant, and thanks.
Only a few minutes. We've got to make that train.
Is Rags okay? He didn't get hurt, did he?
No, he's all right. Here's the cab, Jerry. Hop in. Driver, back to the station and step on it.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, Rags is okay, but he must be kind of sick. I tried to feed him several times, but he wouldn't eat.
Of course not. He never eats anything unless I give it to him. Dad and I trained him like that.
Oh, then that accounts for it. I never saw a dog that wouldn't eat if you offered it some meat.
Well, where was he, Jason? Where'd you find him?
He was having the time of his life digging around those ashes after the fire.
Oh, gee whiz. And I looked all over for him. I'm sorry I caused you so much trouble.
Forget it, Jerry. Any boy that likes his dog that much must have something pretty real, way down deep.
Gee, Jason, you think we'll make it in time?
Sure, Jerry. Sure we will. We've got to.
Here's the station.
Here you are. Keep the change.
Thank you.
Quick, Jerry. We'll have to run for it.
Gee, I don't think I can make it.
You've got to. Here we are. Give me a hand. Come on. Hop up. There you go. Just in time, huh?
Oh, boy. Gee, thanks, Jason.
Come on. Let's get inside. Well, you turned out to be quite a sprinter after all, Jerry.
Jerry! Jason! I was afraid you missed the train.
Not us.
Hello, Patsy. Where's Rags? You got him?
I surely have. He's down at the end of the car.
Gee. Rags! Rags!
Look at that dog run.
Rags, you crazy little mutt. Gee, I was afraid I'd never see you again.
You know, Jason, I don't think that dog likes that boy.
I'm sure that boy doesn't like that dog much.
Rags, if you ever go up like that again, I'll... Oh, is that so? You don't say. Oh, no.
If your face wasn't clean, Jerry, it certainly should be by now.
Rags, stop licking his face.
You see? He feels just like I do. You do see that I couldn't leave him, don't you?
Of course we do, Jerry. Oh, it's pretty late, though. Don't you think you'd better get some sleep? Remember, we've got to get up bright and early.
Where am I supposed to sleep?
Randall said you were to bunk in with Lawrence and Decker. They have compartment B down there at the end of the car.
Yes, and they're probably in bed already.
Guess you'd better turn in, Jerry.
Aw, gee, can't I sit up a while and talk? Golly, I'm so excited, I'm sure I can't sleep yet.
You should be excited. You join a circus, put your dog in an act, and help put out a fire, lose your dog, and get in jail all in one day.
Well, it's been a big enough day for me. I'm turning in.
Excuse me. The Sandman is certainly calling me. Well, see you in the morning. Oh, say, Jerry.
Yeah?
I mailed that letter to Dad and asked him if he knew anything about your uncle.
Oh, you did?
Mm-hmm.
Gee, thanks, Patsy. Night.
Good night, Jerry. Good night, Jason.
Night, Patsy. Well, Jerry, we're on our way. It'll be another year before we play Midvale again. Guess you're not sorry to leave, are you?
Nope, I'm glad. I was awful lonesome after Dad died.
I know. But time is a great healer. And you're going to find a lot of happiness, Jerry. You've got a big life ahead of you.
Here comes Lorenz.
So he wasn't in his room.
Stop growling, Rags. I never knew him to growl at anyone like that before. Rags, see him.
Growling at me again, eh? I thought we had good riddance of this dog. So you found the kid, too, eh?
Yeah, found him just in time to make the train.
Well, I turn in now.
Well, I'll be in soon.
Don't hurry on my account. Where is the school? B, B, C, B. Here it is. This is my room. Decker. Decker! What you doing with that gun out?
I don't know.
I told you to keep your hands off that gun.
I'm sorry,
That boy will be in any moment. What you got, a craving for guns? You get us in trouble yet.
I'm sorry, Lorenz. I was just looking at it. It's a fine pistol.
It will serve the purpose if it is not discovered before we have a chance to use it. Here, I put it away.
It won't happen again.
It better not. I guess I hide it from the baby who likes to play with cotton. Now listen. Decker, get this straight before the kid comes in. Everything will work out if...
If what?
If we are careful and follow the plan. Now, tomorrow is payday.
Yes.
Bennett will bring money to the office wagon as usual.
Yes.
Here's what we do. I file the lock from the office wagon. Then I go inside and wait for it. You watch outside, and when... Careful. Why you not knock, huh?
Well, I...
Snooping at the door, huh? What do you hear?
Nothing. I just came in. I didn't hear anything. Honest.
He wasn't snooping, Lorenz. How are you, Jerry? Well, and Red. Glad they found you?
Thanks, Decker. I guess I better get to bed.
Oh, there's your bunk over there.
Come on, Rags. Up you go. I haven't got any pajamas. Guess I'll have to sleep in my shirt tonight. Well, good night.
Good night, Jerry. Have a good sleep.
Oh, this bed feels good.
Ladies and gentlemen, we take great pleasure in presenting in dramatic form another of the stories especially selected for us by Edwin Balmer, the distinguished editor of Red Book magazine. We are pleased to announce that the publishers of Red Book have given us special permission to broadcast these stories. Mr. Balmer is here in the studio with us, and before the story begins, we're going to ask him to tell you why he selected The No Man by Frederick Hazlitt Brennan. Mr. Balmer.
Frederick Hazlitt Brennan, who wrote The No Man, is one of the literary sensations of recent years. Only a short time ago, he was a newspaper reporter in St. Louis. There he began to put in short stories some of the surprising things he saw and experienced. New things were happening. New people of all sorts were appearing in American cities, and he was the first to put many of them authentically upon a page. Naturally, the magazines began competing for his stories, and naturally, Hollywood howled for him to come out there and make pictures. He did so, and he saw Hollywood as only he could. The No Man is the story of Hollywood, written by the super brilliant reporter Frederick Hazlitt Brennan, and we are delighted to give it to you.
Thank you, Mr. Balmer. Now for the story. Max Lowell is the president of Independent Pictures Incorporated. A supervisor, a director, and 2 writers have just filed out of his office, and he sinks back in his chair with a snort of disgust. The disturbing thought of Brian Byrne crosses his mind. Only a week ago, that trouble-making, insulting Irish or lowlife Byrne had stood in that very office and blurted out,
"You're the world's prize fall guy, Max. You let these Hollywood chiselers make a sap out of you 40 times a day. You enjoy it. You'd sell your soul for a yes and a slap on the back. You're just dumb."
And Max Lowell had risen in his wrath and shouted,
"Get out! Never do I want to see your Irish face again. I'm dumb, am I? You lowlife, you Irisher, get out!"
And Max had meant every word he said. But now, for a moment, as he leans back in his swivel chair, he wishes the lowlife Irisher were back with him. Brian Byrne would tell you the truth, always the truth. Money meant nothing to Brian. But no, the fellow was insufferable. Max dismisses the thought of Brian and pushes the electric button to summon his secretary.
You rang for me, Mr. Lowell?
Why won't somebody tell me the truth, Miss Hurst? Am I too unreasonable to hear the truth?
Well, I thought that...
I shot the story of those 2 second-rate playwrights full of holes in 10 minutes, and they didn't stick to their guns. They backed down and they yesed me. Everybody yeses me.
Oh, yes, sir.
And when they go back east, they'll give out interviews saying they don't want to let us write anything good in Hollywood. They don't want that.
Most of them do that.
The only man we ever had around here who knew what he was doing and would tell the truth was Brian Byrne.
Would you like me to get hold of Mr. Byrne for you? I'm sure I could locate him.
No. 7 times I've had to take him back, and 7 times I had to fire him again. I can't stand that man.
You know it's 10 o'clock, Mr. Lowell.
Yes, I'm an hour late with all of my appointments. I know. You don't have to tell me.
Mr. Reisman's office called.
Reisman?
Yes. He said you promised to talk to him at 9:30 about buying that chain of theaters.
I should spend $12 million and change the company's policy without even thinking it over? Tell him I'll see him later.
Mr. Loomis called that he'll have our Modern Wives with all the retakes ready to run at noon.
Loomis will have to wait. Maybe I can run our Modern Wives after dinner.
And Mrs. Lowell called twice. She said it was very important.
Operator, get Mrs. Lowell for me.
Mr. Loomis said our Modern Wives should have a $2 Broadway opening. He said it's too good for a regular release.
Well, what else should it be? We spent $700,000 on that picture. Hello? Hello, Mama. Oh, she's not there. Oh, she left for my office. Good. She's on her way here now.
Mr. Lowell's office? Mrs. Lowell's in the waiting room.
Send her right in, will you?
Ask her to come right into Mr. Lowell's office. She'll be right in.
Mama.
So, Papa, if you're so busy you have no time for your own family.
Oh, listen, have I kept you waiting in the reception room, huh?
I sit by the telephone the whole morning, and all I hear is, Mr. Lowell's busy now, Mr. Lowell can't speak to you now.
No, Mama, you know I got conferences on every minute. What is it now? The swimming pool leaks again, huh?
Swimming pool? I wish it was only the swimming pool.
It's all right, so if it's not the swimming pool...
No,
so...
Max, I want you should listen and not get all excited.
What's the matter? Has Reba broke up the new car? Answer me at once.
Car? I wish it was the car. Reba's left home. That's what Reba's done.
What? Reba left home?
Now, Papa, don't get all excited.
Oh, when did she leave? Why? Where? Answer me at once. Has she eloped?
She went to Lake Arrowhead with Terry Lothar and another boy and girl with no chaperone. A sassy little no-good, without a chaperone, mind you, for 3 or 4 days.
Well, you didn't let her go, did you?
Don't be foolish. Of course I didn't.
I didn't. Of course you
But
didn't.
she went.
What?
She packed her things and she went, and she said she wasn't ever coming back home again.
Oh, we must bring her back. We must do something. What can we do?
If you hadn't got mad and fired that Brian Boyne, he would have got Reba back for us.
Brian Boyne.
He had a way with Reba. He was the only one that could ever do anything with her.
Miss Hoist,
Oh, yes, Mr. Lowell.
I want you should find Brian Boyne. Try Caliente first. Maybe he went to Palm Springs or to Big Bear. Or maybe Frisco, Las Vegas.
I heard he was in Seattle on Thursday.
Well, try Seattle. Try everywhere. Quick.
I'll find him, sir.
No, Mama, don't cry. Brian will get River back for us, all right? Don't worry. That Irish lowlife can do it, all right.
If we find him, Papa, we've got to get him. We found Mr. Byrne, Mr. Lowell.
At last. Where?
He's in jail at Santa Barbara.
Good. What is he in for?
He had a fight with a highway cop who was trying to arrest some girl for speeding.
Let me see. Who do I know in Santa Barbara that can get him out?
Oh, Mr. John Mayer, the banker, could do it.
Good. Wire him about it. And put in a call to the Santa Barbara jail for me right away.
I have the jail for you already. The switchboard's holding the call for you.
Hello? Give me that call to the jail. Yes. Hello? Say, listen. This is Mr. Max Lowell, president of Independent Pictures. I want you to let me speak to Brian Boyne. Brian Boyne, you've got him in there. Say, is this the chief? What? Brian won't speak to me. Listen. I want you to tell Mr. Boyne that it ain't business I want to talk to him about. Tell him it's my little girl, Reba. My little Reba, you understand? Good. Hello? Hello, Brian. Is that you? Now, listen, Brian. I don't want you should act this way. What I said and what you said ain't neither here nor there. Reba has run away. Yes. Her mama is all upset and crying for her. And listen, I don't feel any too good either. Brian, listen. You got to find her and you got to bring her home. Listen, would you want my little Reba to marry an actor? You told me yourself we should not let her be taken in by some no-good Hollywood lowlife. Yes. She told her mama she went to Lake Arrowhead, yes. I'll get you out, Brian. Already I've wired you $5,000. Yeah, I want you to leave for Arrowhead at once. Hire a plane or anything, but bring little Reba back to her mama, yes. Now listen, Brian. Listen. Oh, he hung up.
He's going to do it for you.
Yes, Brian will try.
Mr. Loomis is still holding an operator to run our Modern Wives. It's 6 o'clock. And Mr. Reisman wants to know if you'll dine with him at the Roosevelt.
Tell them both I'm too busy. Hey, the truth is I'm too worried. I'm going home now to wait for Reba. Now, don't worry, Mama. Brian will bring Reba home all right. That's all right. Don't worry.
Maybe it's Reba.
Oh, a car. Mama, it's a car.
Hey, Max! Max!
Mama, Papa.
Reba.
Oh, I'm so glad to be home, Mama. Oh, it's all right now, Reba. It's all right.
No, don't you worry, Reba. What was it that happened?
I trusted Carrie, Papa. He's a big bum and a coward.
Well, what has he done?
Oh, he wanted me to leave up with the others at Lake Arrowhead and elope with him to Las Vegas.
And I arrived just in time to spank him and get Reba away.
Hey, Brian, I can never thank you enough for this.
Ah, forget it.
No, listen. Take your mama upstairs, Reba, and tell her you'll never run away from her again. Go on, Mama. Go.
ahead, Mama.
Hey, wait a minute. Where are you going, Brian?
I've got a long drive ahead of me, Max, and I want to be started.
Now, listen, don't go, Brian. Listen, you got to come back. I need you.
Nothing doing, Max. You don't get me back on any crummy job for you.
But listen-
I told you I was through, and I meant it.
But, Brian, I got to show you our modern vibes. It's the best talkie V or anybody else ever made. George Brock, he said so.
So George Brock said so.
Yes, and we got a big deal to buy big theaters, 200 theaters. Bernie says never in his life did he ever see such a bargain.
So that's what Bernie said.
Listen, I know for once in your life you'll agree with George and Bernie.
Agree with those chiselers? I'll bet the picture's a flop, and that theater deal smells of Bernie.
Oh, no. It's a fine picture and a fine deal, too.
Well, I got to be going. I brought Reba home, and that's enough.
And you know Sonia Sylvia? She's a rave in the picture, Brian. We got to sign her quick for a year or two.
I swore I'd never mess around with you again. I'm going.
Oh, please, Brian. Just these two things you got to do for me. The deal and the picture. I need you to help me.
Can't you find one other man in this confounded town who'll tell you the truth occasionally?
Oh, they ain't like you, Brian. They all got axes to grind. They want money or big jobs or something.
Listen, then, and I'll tell you something. I saw some rushes of that picture before I quit.
You did?
Yes, and it's just a good program, hot tamale.
Oh, what do you mean? It's the best thing we've ever done. It should have a Broadway opening.
Cut it to 6,000 feet and throw out all that symbolic stuff.
Cut it to 6,000?
Write in some more scenes for that little Withrow girl. She'll steal the picture from Sylvia anyway. Withrow will be a second gainer if she's handled right.
A second gainer? Well, maybe you're right, Brian.
And as for that theater deal, have you checked up on the appraisal yourself?
Oh, Bernie always handles the business office.
Bernie's a double-crossing chiseler.
Oh, that's not so. Bernie's my friend. Bernie wouldn't do that.
See, there you go. Oh, what's the use of telling you the truth? You don't want to hear it.
You're right, Brian. I got to have the truth, but it hurts.
Well, what if it does?
Well, it makes me so mad I wish I could never hear it again. But always I have to come back for more.
You let those chiselers make a fool out of you.
Well, listen, a man has got to trust somebody. You're the only one left, Brian. You've got to come back to work for me. You've just got to.
Nothing doing. I'm like all the rest. Pretty soon I'd be yesing you, too.
Oh, you'd never do that. Listen, I'll pay you anything you ask. And may I fall down dead if I fire even once more.
Nothing doing, Maxie. We're quits, and I'm heading back to Santa Barbara.
Santa Barbara? What's in Santa Barbara for you?
A girl, Maxie. And I'm going to get back there as fast as I can drive.
A girl? You, Brian, and a girl?
That's what I said.
Well, listen, Brian. If you love a girl, you'll need money. You must make something of yourself.
Yeah, that's a good line.
Listen, you're the best all-around picture man I ever knew. Writing, directing, supervising, they're all easy for you.
I said I was going back to Santa Barbara, Max.
Wait, Brian, wait. Think it over. Wait.
Nothing doing, Max. So long.
You want a job when you get married. You'll see if you don't.
Mr. Bryan to see you, Mr. Lowell.
Brian Boyne? Show him in.
This way, Mr. Burns.
Thank you.
Brian, am I surprised?
Well, you win, Maxie. I've come to take that job.
Great. Fine. That makes me so happy, I would be ashamed to tell you.
I was married 2 days ago. When do I start to work and where?
Sit down. Sit down, my boy. You'll start writing, directing a new picture that I've got an idea for.
What's the story?
Listen while I tell it to you. It's all wow. A girl who used to run with crooks marries the district attorney and doesn't tell him about her past. Her old gangster boyfriend is framed for murder, and the district attorney tries him. She knows that he is innocent. Shall she tell what she knows to save him and probably lose her husband, or shall she let him die? How's that for a situation?
Not bad, Max. Not bad at all.
You really mean that, Brian?
Why, yes, of course.
What's that? What's that you said?
I said yes.
You said yes. You're yesing me.
I know, Max, but...
Listen, Brian, I got a job for you, but it ain't here. It's down on that ranch of mine below Caliente. I want you should go down and run it for me. I want you should leave at once. The yacht is at Wilmington. Take it. Get out of here tonight. Get out before I change my mind, and I'll let you stay here to yes me.
Yes, sir.
Oh, I assure you.
This story, The No Man, by Frederick Hazlitt Brennan, was broadcast by special permission of the publishers of Red Book magazine. Next week at this same time, we take pleasure in announcing that we will present another Red Book story in dramatic form. This story was adapted for the radio by Lawrence Holcomb.
Kraft presents The Great Gildersleeve. Each week at this time, Kraft presents from Hollywood, California, Harold Perry as The Great Gildersleeve, written by Leonard L. Levinson. Today's program is dedicated to the citizens of Gildersleeve, Connecticut, who are today celebrating their 100th anniversary. And now for the adventures of the Great Gildersleeve.
If you take the other end of this trunk, Bertie.
I got it, Mr. Gilsleeve.
All right, now, let's lift it. Oh, well, I can't budge it. Marjorie, what does Leroy keep in this trunk of his? Rocks?
Yes, Uncle Mort. That's his mineral collection.
Oh, well, we'll have to drag it out later. You can let your end down, Bertie.
Oh, I can tote this whole thing myself, Mr. Gilsleeve.
You can, eh?
Hello, everybody. I'm home from school. Say, what are you guys doing to my room?
Your sister will explain, Leroy.
Well, Dorabelle Claiborne, the girl I roomed with at school, is coming to visit.
You mean that giddy little Georgia gal?
Oh, she isn't giddy, Leroy. She's vivacious. Honestly, Uncle Mort, all of the boys at school were crazy about her. She had the cutest drawl.
Yeah, she always talked with a soph and a vof.
Bright boy. Cut that out, Leroy.
Excuse me, Uncle Mort.
Leroy. Dorabelle's just about the best girlfriend I've got.
What's that got to do with my room?
Oh, I forgot to tell you, Leroy. Dorabelle's going to be in your room while she's here.
Yeah? Where do I sleep?
On a cot in my room.
Oh, gee, Uncle Mort.
Well, what's wrong with staying in Uncle Mort's room?
Well, if you must know, he snores all the time.
Oh, no. Only when I sleep. And when I do, just roll me over on my side.
Oh, me? If you don't mind, I'd rather sleep in my own room. Let that silly dame go to a hotel.
Oh, now, stop that, Leroy. Uncle Mort, make him quit.
Yes. You're too young to bully your sister, Leroy. Wait till you're older. I mean, this girl is Marjorie's chum, and naturally she has to give her the key to the city.
But all she's given her is the key to my room.
Yeah.
I thought you liked Dorabelle when you met her 3 years ago.
Oh, I was just a kid then. I used to like anything.
Nevertheless, Leroy, we must show Miss Claiborne some of that famous Southern hospitality. Now help us move all this juvenile junk out of here.
Oh, I'll take the things out of the bathroom.
Yeah, all right.
Tell Bertie to get some fresh towels and
What's wrong?
in the bathtub. A frog.
Nonsense, there's no frog in the bathtub. Or is there, Leroy?
There should be two. Their names are Jake and Lena.
Yes.
Oh, get them out. Get them out.
Oh, don't be afraid, sis. These aren't wild frogs.
Young man, how long have you had these frogs in your bathtub?
Oh, just a week or so.
Do you mean to say it's been a week since you had a bath?
Oh, keep your shirt on, sis. I take a shower every day at school.
Your school started yesterday. Now, you get rid of Jake and Lena.
But frogs are a benefit to mankind. I read where they catch flies in the encyclopedia.
By George, I'll take them out myself. Oh, there. Stay still, Lena. Oh, jumping jelly beans.
What's wrong, Uncle?
They've escaped. Leroy, help me catch them.
Okay.
Marge, fetch that butterfly
Yes.
net. Here, Jake. Here, Lena.
There we get them.
Nice froggies. Here, nice froggies. Say, how do you call a frog? Oh, slippery, aren't they?
Is this the home of Miss Marjorie Forrester?
Yes, ma'am. Come right in.
Oh, Dorabelle. Marjorie. Oh, Oh, my, how lovely you look, Dorabelle. And you, my dear, you look just exactly the same, only 4 years older. It's just 3 years, Dorabelle. Oh, yes. I'm so forgetful. I never did have a head for figures. Oh, come here, Dorabelle. I want you to meet my Uncle Mort. Uncle Mort, Miss Dorabelle Claiborne.
Charmed, I'm sure.
Well, I do declare, Marjorie, if you haven't got the handsomest uncle.
Oh, come now.
Here's your bags, miss. All 12 of them.
Oh.
I'll have Bertie put them away. Oh, thank you, Sugar. Mr. Gildersleeve, you're much younger than I expected.
And you're much prettier than I expected. There's Leroy. Leroy, come over here and say hello to Miss Claiborne.
Hello. Oh, don't tell me this is little Leroy. Yeah. Why, the last time I saw you, you were nothing but a baby. And now, isn't he developing into the handsomest boy? Oh, horse feathers.
Leroy.
Come with me, Dorabelle. Your room's ready. Oh, but you shouldn't have bothered, honey. Goodbye for now, Uncle Mort. It was so charming meeting y'all.
Yeah, so long, Dorabelle.
This way, darling. There. Here's your room. Oh, how nice and cozy. I just love being here. I just can't wait till I meet some of your charming northern boys. But what about Harvey? Harvey? Who's that? Why, the boy you were engaged to. Remember you wrote me about him in April? In April? Oh, that must have been Harvey Jackson. Did something come between you? Yes, the draft. I've been engaged to Joe Patterson and Sammy Fuller and Davy Lee since then. All at once? Why, no. What do you think I am, a flirt? Of course not. I'm not engaged at all at the moment, so I thought I'd come up here and meet some nice, reliable men. Well, Ted knows a lot of nice boys. Ted, is that your fiancé? Well, not exactly. Yet. Is he nice? The kind you dream about. At least the kind I dream about. Well. He's been awfully attentive, but we haven't any understanding yet. Well, my idea would be a man who can give a girl a nice home and lots of servants and cars and shopping money. Why, Dorabelle, there's more to marriage than that. What about your happiness? That's just what I was thinking about, Sugar Lion.
Can I come in?
Oh, of course, Uncle Mort.
Hello, Dorabelle.
My, don't you smell nice? And don't you look handsome with your hair all slicked down?
Oh, yeah. You like it that way?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Makes you look like a movie star.
Well, I have been told that I resembled Ronald Coleman. Except that he has a mustache, and so have I.
Now, Uncle Mort, I like you a lot better than Ronald Coleman.
Yeah.
Why, you'd make two of him.
Yeah, I would, eh? By the way, is there anything I can do for you?
Well, you could go down to the railroad station and fetch Tuffy.
Yeah, Tuffy. Who's that?
My little dog. He's waiting in the baggage room.
Oh, well, I'll be very glad to go. What kind of a hound is he?
A little Mexican hairless.
Yes. Oh, Tuffy, eh?
Hey, everybody, here's Ted.
Hello, boy. Well, hello, Ted.
Hello, Mr. Gildersleeve.
Oh, hello, Ted. Dorabelle, this is Ted. Well, I do declare, Marjorie, if you haven't got the handsomest boyfriend. Uh-oh.
Oh, now, you know better than that, Miss Claiborne.
Oh, don't be so formal. Just call me Dorabelle, Ted.
Well, okay, Dorabelle. How do you like Summerfield?
Well, give her a chance, Ted. She's been here less than an hour. But I know I'm going to like it, darling. 'Cause I'll be just a trifle miserable till I get my Tuffy.
Oh, yes, Tuffy.
Tuffy?
That's my little dog. He's been waiting for me at the depot.
Well, I'll be very glad to drive down there and get him.
But I was...
Thank you, Ted. I don't know what I'd have done.
But I was...
It's nothing at all. Won't take me more than 20 minutes.
But I was...
Is that all? Well, maybe I better come along. Tuffy might be frightened.
But I was...
We'll be right back, everybody. Come on, Ted.
Yeah, we'll be right back.
But I was... What was I? Oh, yes, I was stood up.
Hey, sis, why didn't you go along?
I don't know. Oh, yes, I do. I wasn't invited.
Well. Chicken a la king for lunch again. For the third day in a row. Are you practicing to open a tea room, Bertie?
No, sir.
Dorabelle's favorite dish, Uncle Mort.
It is, huh? Where is Dorabelle?
Oh, Ted is showing us some of the sights around town.
Shall we wait luncheon for them?
No, they just phoned that they were having lunch out.
You know, Marjorie, it's really none of my business, but...
Hello, everybody. What's for lunch? Oh, cream chicken again. Why can't we have ham sandwiches for a change?
Yes. Why can't we have ham sandwiches? Bertie, take this mess away and bring us some ham sandwiches.
Yes, sir. Right away, quick. Won't take much effort. Wait a minute. What am I running for? We ain't got no ham.
Well, go out and buy some. You want a ham sandwich, too, don't you, Marjorie?
No, I'm not very hungry. If you'll excuse me, I won't have anything.
Hey, what's biting her?
A little boll weevil.
Dorabelle, huh? He gives me a pain, too. Say, Uncle Mort, does Marjorie know Dorabelle is making a play for Ted Wills?
Why do you think she left the table? Because she hates ham sandwiches?
Gee, I had a feeling that dame was poison.
When did you get this feeling?
The minute you gave her my room.
By George, I wish we'd left the frogs in the bathtub.
I can put them back.
No. Not that, Leroy. We'll fall back on that only if everything else fails.
Uncle Mort, this Dorabelle's giving Marjorie the old sabotage.
Yes.
Now, we can't count on Sis to do anything about it. She's too proud to fight back. So we got to do something.
That's right. We've got to do something. What have we got to do?
Let me see. I've got it. And it's foolproof. No.
What do you mean, no? Let's hear it.
What's the use? This idea'd work like a charm, but you wouldn't stand for it.
Leroy, in the past few days, I've stood for a lot more than I can stand for, and I guess I can stand for a little more. What is it?
Well, if some high-powered guy stepped in and gave Ted a lot of competition with Dorabelle, I bet you'd get rid of Ted.
You're a bright boy, Leroy.
Especially if this other man was a bigger shot than Ted. Somebody older with plenty of dough.
Marvelous. But who could we get?
I've got them all picked out already.
You have? Who is he?
You.
Who?
You.
Who?
You.
Stop yoo-hooing, Leroy. What do you mean, me?
Gee whiz, you answered the description perfectly, Uncle Mort. Look, you're older than Ted, aren't you?
I am.
You're wealthier than he is.
I am.
And you're handsomer.
I am?
Sure you are.
Then why have you got your fingers crossed?
Why, she says you look like Ronald Coleman. I heard her myself.
No. Let's not kid ourselves, Leroy. She's half my age, and I'm twice her weight.
But she's tired of all these young, skinny sprouts, Uncle Mort. She wants to hook a rich guy.
Oh, the practical type, eh?
Now, I'll do all the hard work, convincing her you're a millionaire,
Yes.
and all you have to do is be nice to her. Give her things.
Yes.
Take her out to the movies, the mushy ones.
But I don't like mushy movies. I like Hopalong Cassidy.
You've got to do this for Marge, Uncle Mort. How about it?
By George, I almost would. If she'd only stop using that overpowering perfume of hers, I can't stand it.
Oh, I can fix that in no time.
How?
It's easy. I'll just sneak into a room, pour half the bottle out, and fill it up again with water.
Keep this up, my boy, and someday you'll be, just keep it up.
Then you'll do it, huh? Remember, it's your duty as our uncle.
You're right, Leroy. I'll do it. But something tells me it would have been a lot easier if we'd have put those frogs in her bed.
Hiya, Dorabelle.
Hello, Sugarfoot.
Ted called just now, but I thought you were out with Uncle Mort.
Oh, I better phone Ted back. I've been neglecting him shamefully lately.
Oh, it's no use calling. He was going right out. Say, have you seen Uncle Mort around?
I think he's resting in his room till dinner time. We went to a movie this afternoon.
What did you see?
Hopalong Cassidy. I only went along to please him.
I think Uncle Mort's doing all he can to please you, too.
Yes, I wonder why he's doing it.
Oh, you'll find out someday.
You think I will?
I hope so.
Oh, aren't you sweet? Your uncle's a very interesting man, Leroy.
Yeah. Do you know he started out as a boy with only one lobster pot, and now he's got millions?
Of lobster pots?
No, dollars.
Oh, I never knew that. I thought he was well off, but I never dreamed he was a millionaire.
Well, don't let on. He doesn't like people to like him just because he has loads of money.
As if anybody would.
No.
He's just charming and lovable and sweet and handsome all by his own self. How did he make his money, Leroy?
Why, in enterprises.
Enterprises?
Yes, he's got them scattered all over the country.
What kind of enterprises?
Oh, various, various. Of course, Uncle has always said he'd trade all of his wealth. just not to be so lonesome.
He did.
Yeah. And you know something, Dorabelle?
What, Sugar Pie?
Since he met you, he's been a different man. Too bad he's so much older than you are.
Oh, not too much. And besides, what of it?
And you're interested in somebody else.
Why, Leroy Forrester, whatever gave you that idea?
Oh, I don't know. You and Ted?
Ted Wills? Why, he's Marjorie's fella. I'm not interested in him. And when he calls up, you keep telling him I'm out.
You mean you're going to brush him off?
I will not. Let him take care of his clothes himself. Now, you run along out, Angel Cake, whilst I fix up for dinner.
Okay. Hey, Unc.
How did it go?
Oh, swell. Mickey Rooney couldn't have done it any better.
Yes. And you think it's going to work?
Sure, if you do your share. Remember, from here on, it's up to you.
I'll try my best. It isn't easy, you know, playing patty cake with that little rattlebrain. Taking that darn dog of hers out for a walk every afternoon.
Yeah. Say, how do you keep Tuffy in line?
Well, we go to the park. I buy him 4 hamburger sandwiches, then we both take a nap under a tree.
Well, I think Dorabelle's about ready to give Ted the gate.
Good. That'll make Marjorie happy.
Say, you better go in and try to cheer Marge up.
Huh?
She's been looking terrible lately.
By George, you're right. I'll do it right now. There's another favor I'd like to ask, Leroy.
Shoot.
See if you can dilute Dorabelle's perfume just once more.
Who's there?
It's me, Uncle Mort. Do you mind if I come in?
Oh, all right.
Oh, what's wrong, Marjorie?
Oh, sometimes people are a terrible disappointment.
Oh, there are plenty of nice people in this world.
They just seem to me nice first. Then somebody else comes along and you see them in their true colors.
Oh, now, my dear, sometimes people get their heads turned by other people.
And these other people shouldn't be allowed to come between people and the people they like. They should go back home where they belong.
Now, my dear. Time wounds all heals. Why, before you know it, you'll be smiling and laughing and happy again.
But I'm happy now.
Yes, of course. I can see that. Here's a handkerchief. That's it. You blow hard, my dear. Now, don't worry. Just leave it to your Uncle Mort.
You mean you've done something?
I surely have, Marjorie. Everything's going to be all right.
It is?
Sure. I'll let you in on a little secret. I've got a date tonight with Dorabelle.
What? You too?
Huh?
Oh, come on. How could you?
Oh. I'm telling you, Leroy, I can't go through with this another evening. Dorabelle's had me doing the rumba and the conga and the tango and the fandango till I walk with a Spanish accent. And tonight we're going to the country club dance, and she's going to teach me how to be a jitterbug. If I could only tell her what I thought of her, I'd be a happy man.
Cheer up, Uncle Mort. This can't last much longer.
No, well, neither can I. Now, you run upstairs and get my hat.
Okay.
Good idea. A jitterbug at my age. Hello?
Hello, Mr. Gildersleeve. This is Ted.
Oh, hello, Ted.
Are you alone?
Let me look. Yes. What is it?
Well, this is rather hard for me to say, Mr. Gildersleeve, but I guess I've been pretty much of a fool.
That's a pretty good guess.
There's no use in going over the whole thing now, but I've got to see Marjorie alone and try to get her to forgive me.
An excellent idea. I'm taking Dorabelle out of the house anyway.
Oh, you're a pal, Mr. Gildersleeve. And don't think I don't know what you've done to open my eyes.
I wish I could keep mine open. I don't ever seem to get any sleep anymore. That Southern Belle has put me through the ringer.
I can sympathize with you.
Huh? Yes. If it wasn't for you, I'd never be in this mess.
When shall I come around?
Just as soon as you can get here. Dorabelle and I were supposed to leave an hour ago. She should be down any minute now.
I see.
And when she does, I'm going to tell that... Oh, there you are, Dorabelle. Goodbye, Mr. McGonagall. Goodbye. That was Mr. McGonigal.
Did I keep y'all waiting long, Frocky Walkie?
No. And now, young lady, there's something I've been waiting to tell you ever since you walked into this house.
Hey, Unc, I couldn't find your hat anywhere.
Well, I better get myself so we can get going.
But Lammy Pie, you were starting to say.
I'll tell you on the way over to the house. Lammy Pie.
I can't understand your uncle. He's been so droopy lately.
Why, that's because he's in love with you. Don't you get droopy when you're in love?
Come to think of it, I do.
Sure. Why, right now you're a little droopy.
Am I, Leroy?
You bet you droop. I mean, you droop.
And you think your Uncle Mort really and truly has a fever for me?
Why, he was saying to me only just now, if I could only tell Dora Belle what I thought about her, I'd be a happy man.
Love me.
That's right, Miss Dora Belle.
Call me Auntie Dora Belle, Leroy.
Oh.
And you can tell Uncle that we don't need to go through any proposal business. From now on, we'll just consider ourselves engaged.
Say, where you going?
I'll be waiting in the car, nephew.
Oh, gee, now what have I done? I better tell Uncle Mort so he can...
Where's Dora Belle, Leroy?
In the car. Say, I said something to her, and she thinks that
No need for any more shenanigans, Leroy. I've got good news. Ted snapped out of his dizzy Dora Belle spell.
And he and Marjorie have made up?
Well, they will as soon as I can get that Dixie Dietrich away from the house. And when I do, I'm going to invite her to pack up and go home.
Oh, say, don't do that. I just told her...
Oh, you told her. A bright boy. Saves me the trouble, then. How soon is she leaving?
She didn't say. She thinks she's going to get...
I haven't time to dilly-dally here, Leroy. Got to get her out of the way before Ted comes. Goodbye.
But, Uncle... Oh, my...
Leroy told me what was on your mind, Throckmorton.
Yes, I know. Saved me a lot of embarrassment, too.
I just want you to know I'm ready anytime you want to set the date, honey bunny.
Well, how about tomorrow morning? There's a train leaving.
Oh, you mustn't rush me, you impetuous boy.
Well, why not? Why not? The sooner the better. And it better be sooner.
Tell me, Throckmorton, are you sure you want me to go through with this?
Positive. Say, you're not going to back out now, are you?
Oh, no. You couldn't get me to change my mind now.
Yeah, that's good. Well, this is our last night at the country club.
I have a marvelous idea. Let's announce it here.
You think we should announce it?
Oh, sure. There'll be just loads of people glad to hear the good news.
Yes, probably more than you think.
Now, let me see.
Yeah?
Who'd be the proper person to make the announcement? Why, the orchestra leader, of course.
Orchestra?
They usually... Oh, well, look, who's the new leader?
Who?
It's Danny Durant. He started playing around my hometown. Look, isn't he the handsomest orchestra leader?
Yeah, here we go again.
Oh, Danny.
Did you call me? Well, for heaven's sake, Dora Belle Claiborne, what are you doing up here?
You'll soon find out. This is Mr. Throckmorton P. Gildersleeve, Danny.
Yeah, how do you do?
And he and I have an important announcement we wish you'd make from the bandstand.
Uh-oh. Up to your old tricks again, huh?
Yeah, that's right. And now she's going
boys,
home.
stop teasing. Danny, we want you to announce my engagement and forthcoming marriage to Mr. Gildersleeve.
Yes. What? Engagement? Marriage?
Excuse him, please, Danny.
Yes, excuse
This is his first engagement, and he's kind of nervous.
Nervous?
Throckmorton, you just calm yourself.
But you, but we...
I just can't wait till Danny makes the announcement. Can you, darling?
No, I can't wait. I've got to get out of here.
The orchestra has a short intermission right now, Dora Belle.
Fine. That'll give Danny and me time to figure out a cute way of wording the announcement and to visit a bit. See you in a few minutes, baby lion.
Oh, now you're in a mess, Throckmorton P. Gildersleeve. What'll people say? Yes, and they'd be right, too. Oh, now, what can I do?
Uncle Mort.
Yeah?
Uncle Mort.
Oh.
Ted and I hurried here as fast as we could.
Yeah.
Leroy told us he was afraid he proposed to Dora Belle for you.
He did, Marjorie. Why didn't he ask me first? I'd have said no.
Did you tell her it was all a mistake?
How could I, Ted? I didn't know we were going to be married till she told that orchestra leader, and now he's going to tell everybody.
Well, if I can stop him from...
Oh, there he goes up to the bandstand now.
Where? Oh,
there.
Come on, Uncle Mort.
No, it's too late. I guess I'll just have to face the music. Yeah, there's the music.
Ladies and gentlemen,
I have an important announcement to make.
Oh, here it comes.
Not so long ago, Summerfield was visited by a beautiful vision of loveliness from down south.
Yeah.
She charmed the hearts of all the boys, but there is only one man who is going to be happy for the rest of his days.
Yes, slap happy.
This man, the envy of all Summerfield, is the one to whom she's just bestowed her hand.
Bestowed. Thrust.
Of course, you know the girl I've been talking about, Miss Dorabelle Claiborne. She's an old friend from down home.
I wish you were there now.
Well, it gives me great pleasure to announce that Miss Dorabelle Claiborne has just promised to become my wife.
What? Your wife? Hey, I've been jilted. Thank goodness.
The great Gildersleeve will be with us again in a few minutes. But first, I have a confession to make. You see, although I am the announcer on a food program, I'm no cooking expert. No, I'm more interested in eating good food than in preparing it. But I do know this. The most important quality in food, the quality that makes you a good cook, is the flavor you give to the dishes you serve. And that's the reason more and more women are using Parquet margarine. You see, Parquet is the new Kraft margarine that tastes so good. Yes, women everywhere are discovering that Parquet is a delicious margarine that can be used so many ways. Served at the table, for instance, Parquet is sure to impress everyone with its delicate, satisfying taste. You'll find Parquet is a luscious seasoning melted over hot vegetables. For baking, Parquet margarine is a genuine flavor shortening that makes cookies, cakes, and pie crusts that fairly melt in your mouth. And then there's pan frying. Yes, Parquet adds flavor to pan-fried foods, too, and it doesn't spatter or stick to the pan. And remember, Parquet margarine is a nutritious food that contains vitamin A, yet it's economical, too. So next time you order, ask for delicious, economical Parquet. Parkay. Just say, I want Parquet, the delicious margarine that's made by Kraft. Oh, Mr. Gildersleeve.
Yes, Mr. Bannon?
I'd like to read a resolution we received from Gildersleeve, Connecticut.
Oh, well, go right ahead.
Here it is. Whereas the town of Portland, celebrating its 100th anniversary, desires to honor that part of the town known as Gildersleeve, and the person who has chosen that name in providing joy and entertainment to the nation, and whereas the first Gildersleeve built the fleet which helped win the War of 1812, and the great Gildersleeve of the modern airways is building happiness for the American people, we, the Centennial Committee, do solemnly declare and herewith appoint the great Gildersleeve honorary mayor of the village of Gildersleeve in the town of Portland, state of Connecticut, given under my hand and seal on this 19th day of September, 1941. Joseph P. Bransfield, chairman.
Well... Well, I'm deeply honored. And let me say, from one Gildersleeve to another, I hope the old proverb about the first 100 years being the hardest is true. Then the next 100 years will be easier. Good night.
Original music heard on this program was composed and conducted by William Randolph. This is Jim Bannon speaking for the Kraft Cheese Company and reminding you that if the community in which you live does not observe daylight saving time, the great Gildersleeve will come to you 1 hour later beginning next week. This is the National Broadcasting Company.
The Adventures of Frank Grace, starring Tom Collins. many things were changed during the war. The face of the earth was altered, and the people of the earth changed. Before the war, Frank Race was an attorney, but he traded his law books for the cloak and dagger of the OSS. And when it was over, his former life was over too. Adventure had become his business. The Adventures of Frank Race.
New York in the spring, just after a rain, with the sun sneaking a look at you now and then. Everything glistened, particularly the girls in those transparent raincoats. I was walking right alongside one of them, a blonde who was putting ideas in my head, when...
Mr. Race! Frank Race! Hey!
It was Mark Donovan, coming in fast as usual. I crawled into his cab, a vehicle that looked as though it must have gone through the Battle of the Bulge.
I've been looking all over for you. Call come to the apartment from Intercontinental Maritime Underwriters. A guy named Chalmers Latham.
An interesting piece of news. Start beating those signals, Mark. A guy named Chalmers Latham. I remembered him from the Rotogravures. First family, good-looking, shoots golf along with the pros. Frank Merriwell in business. He drew salary as an executive vice president in charge of claims. And at the moment, he wasn't happy.
I don't believe we've met before, Race.
I don't believe so.
I heard of you through McCormick, our chief adjuster. Attorney, aren't you?
That's right.
The OSS during the war, quite a lot of foreign service, decorated several times.
You've got me.
Might I ask why you prefer not to practice your profession?
Well, I got fidgety in courtrooms. It's a handicap, irritates the judges.
I'd like to point out, Race, that the function of this office is to adjust claims, not to investigate them.
But you've had one come along that looks fuzzy.
Not one, two. Two freighters operated by the same firm. The claim in each case is for total loss.
How did they go?
Overdue and presumed lost. Frankly, they just disappeared, without traces. Ship, cargo, and crew.
Well, sounds like an interesting assignment.
As I just mentioned, our function is to adjust claims and, well...
You don't want to make a fuss.
You understand. Now, the claims may turn out to be perfectly legitimate. So I suggest that, on the surface, you make it apparent that you're not working for us. Pardon me a moment.
Right.
Yes? Put Mr. Nina on. No, wait a second. I'll talk to her out there. Excuse me a minute, Race.
Quite all right, Latham. He took at least 15 minutes. And when he came back, he kept moving around, smoking rapidly.
You free this evening, Race?
I could be.
I'd like to take you to Sally Deneen's for dinner.
Informal or white tie?
White tie. I'll pick you up at 8.
I left Latham's office and headed for the elevator, but I never quite got to it. The interception came in the shape of a paunchy personality with a pair of eyes that reminded you of grapes. Peeled grapes. His face was round and without guile, and he spoke with the voice of a choir boy.
We're taking the stairs.
Well, I'm not seeking exercise. You know, that's a long way down.
I said we're taking the stairs. You go moving your flippers and you'll pick up a crop of bruises.
I got the feeling I'd pick up more than that. Those orbs told me he'd been smoking a brand they don't advertise. We took the stairs.
Stay close to the buildings. And remember, one phony move and I'll plant a slug in there.
There were several cabs around, but no sign of Mark Donovan. We walked about 4 blocks to finally turn in at a short blind alley, a loading dock. On hand were a couple of citizens who'd been fair game for any dragnet. One of them was an ordinary hood, but the other... Well, you remember the way a bootlegger used to dress when business was good? Slouch hat, double-breasted Chesterfield.
Hello, Race. My name's Jacklin. Eddie Jacklin.
Should that make me happy?
I'm not here to stall around. What'll you take to turn down that job for Intercontinental?
I might be able to answer that better if I knew what they intended to pay me.
Now you're doing the stalling.
Like I told you, Eddie, you don't have to offer him no dough. Just let me push him around a little.
Like this? Grapevines?
I heard you were pretty handy with that commando stuff.
Well, he could have been friendlier about things. Walked me several blocks without uttering a civil word.
I try to be friendly with people I do business with.
You may as well get it straight, Jacklin. I'm not doing business.
I had an idea you'd say that, so I made plans.
With a .45 in your hand. I respect you.
Nemo, flag us a cab. All right, Race. Drift toward the street.
Jacqueline gave the cabbie an east side address, and we lurched away. Our flying start made me glance at the driver. I had to swallow a grunt when I saw it was Mark. His eye in the mirror caught mine, and I got set for his play. And it wasn't long in coming. Getting a clear stretch ahead, he gunned the cab to about 50, then slapped on the brakes. I braced myself, and when Jacqueline and Nemo went forward, I grabbed both of them behind the heads and pushed hard.
Get him outside, Frank!
Get out, Jacqueline!
Roll your head, Frank! Roll your head!
I was conscious of a sickening splat, and we all sprawled on the pavement. Nemo and I came up together, and I went at him with the sharp edges of my hands. He took 2 or 3 and then broke away into camps.
Come on, Race, let's get out of here. Fine fare you turn out to be. Wait for me, says the man, and that is the last I see him.
Well, if you'd been watching, you'd have seen me come out of that building with a gun barrel bruising my backbone.
I took 5 minutes maybe to snag me a cup of coffee.
How much coffee do you drink in a day?
This is only my 9th cup. Since noon, it is. Why don't you have some more?
Mark, do you know about a family named Deneen?
Oh, the big shots. Yeah, I know. Hauled them around once or twice. There is a girl that's a pip.
Do they own ships?
That's right, sure. The girl and her brother had a big court fight in 44. Hit all the headlines. Some kind of battle about running a company.
No, we weren't reading very many newspapers in 44.
What is cooking on all this, anyway?
Dinner. They're home this evening. On the way over, Latham had briefed me on the family, but at that, I wasn't quite prepared for the militant aunt who presided over the household. Miss Deneen's aunt, Carrie Farrell, must have been about 45. Her complexion had the look of freshly stirred oatmeal. She spoke in tones that seemed to be directed at someone behind you, about 50 feet behind you. Carrie's Mr. Farrell always seemed to be smiling, apologetically, as though he felt himself to be a traitor to his sex because of being her husband.
Race? Well, that's an odd name, isn't it? Has anyone ever told you that the race doesn't always go to the fleetest?
I'm afraid that doesn't quite make sense, Carrie.
Does to me. I'm sure it does to Mr. Race. Come along. Sally isn't here yet, but we won't wait for her.
We were dabbling with a chocolate souffle, and I was wondering why Latham had bothered to set this up when she appeared in the doorway. You know, the loveliness of some women affects you gently, like the sampling of fine wine. With Sally Deneen, it reached out and took you by the lapels and said, "Look at me." She wasn't a blonde. She didn't need to be. Not with that coloring. Not with that thick, dusky hair. Her eyes were large and sultry. When they settled on me, I wasn't conscious of where I was.
Sorry I'm late, everybody. Hello, Chalmers. What have you been doing lately?
Fretting about your ships?
Oh, bother the ships.
Yeah, that simply amazes me, the way you all accept the situation so resignedly.
What else can we do, Chalmers? None of us here knows a thing about shipping.
Bob does, or should. By the way, Sally, where is your brother? I thought he'd be here tonight.
With me here? Don't be silly, darling.
Well, I wanted to see him because, well, I'm going to be frank with you. I hate to have to do it, but I'm forced to investigate the loss of those 2 vessels.
What?
And we'll keep it as quiet as possible.
And I gather that Mr. Race will do the investigating.
Yes.
Well, whatever you think best, darling. As Uncle Matt said, we know very little about shipping.
Nice dinner, Latham. I enjoyed it.
What did you think of them?
Interesting people. Do they share ownership of the company?
Sally and Auntie and Brother Bob. Farrell is in only to the extent of marriage.
How are they financially?
I'm not sure. You see, Race, I have an emotional interest in their affairs.
I caught that.
How soon can you leave for San Francisco?
That's where the ships are?
Most of them.
Well, I'll be phoning for a reservation while I change my clothes.
Good. And Race, there'll be a $1,000 bonus if you make good use of that discretion of yours.
Frisco and fog. According to all reports, they like bread and butter, particularly in the spring. So the sun was a newly minted gold piece. The only cloudiness visible was in my taxi driver's face. as the car in front of us made a left turn from a right-hand lane. The cabbie dropped me at a hotel that matched the weather, the Mark Hopkins. And while I was smudging the register, I heard myself being paged. I signaled the bellhop, and he led me to the bar. Sally was there.
Surprise, Mr. Race?
Frankly, yes.
What will you have to drink?
A bourbon and soda, please.
Since you'd like to know, I wheedled your destination out of Chalmers, Latham.
What did you use to get out here? A rocket?
Well, I imagine I caught an earlier plane. Trust I don't look travel-worn.
You look... Well, if you don't know how you look, you're not the girl I think you are.
As a compliment, I'm afraid that one is tinged with cynicism.
No, I'm not being cynical. I may get that way later, but I'm not now.
I like you, Race. You mind?
What about Latham?
Will you believe me?
If you level.
I'm leveling, Race. Chalmers doesn't know I'm not interested. It isn't my fault.
That's good enough for me. Let's drink to the new cities, new acquaintances.
Let's drink to Oz.
I spent the next couple of days kicking around and asking questions about the missing ships. And I drew a lot of blanks. Then I ran into Sally again at night in the lobby of the hotel.
Tell me, Race, have you been avoiding me?
I've been circulating around. That's the way I earn a living.
Aunt Carrie and Uncle Matt flew out. I'm having dinner with them. Why don't you join us?
Here at the hotel?
No. We have a house out here that we keep open the year round. St. Francis Wood. How about dinner?
Oh, I'll enjoy that. But I'm afraid I'll be a little late. See, there's a ship in the harbor I want to have a look at. The Hackensack Victory.
Oh, that's one of ours.
I know. Maybe you'd like to go along.
Couldn't we make it tomorrow?
Let's make it tonight. Think of what it'll do for your appetite.
You're a very persistent man.
The Hackensack Victory is an exact counterpart of the two ships that disappeared. You don't have to come if you don't want to.
I'll come.
We found the Hackensack Victory with the gangplank down. When we reached the deck, I led Sally aft to a cabin door that bore a brass plate, identifying the quarters as belonging to the master.
The captain may not like this.
Don't happen to know him, do you?
To the best of my knowledge, I've never even seen the man.
What do you want?
We just thought we'd like to have a look around.
We've got no time for sightseers.
Captain, this is Miss Sally Deneen, one of the owners.
Now, how would I know that?
Maybe you'd like to see her driver's license.
I'm not interested. I'm sorry, but you'll have to go ashore.
I think we better do that, Race. He's perfectly within his rights.
All right, Sally. If you say so.
Oh, I'm starved. Wonder how far we'll have to walk to find a cab.
You're starved, and I'm curious.
What about?
The world is full of sounds, mostly words. If your mind is watching while your ears listen, surprising what people will tell you without intending to.
Have I told you anything, Race? Without intending to?
You didn't want me aboard that ship.
Oh, that's ridiculous.
You know, there's something funny about it. About the master's cabin. They've been redecorating it. Did you notice it? All that cluster of wood shavings on the floor and the smell of paint. But maybe you didn't notice.
Not particularly.
They've been doing something to the ceiling beams. Now, why would they do that?
Race, why don't you forget your job for tonight?
She stopped as she said this. So I stopped, too. I reached out, took her by the shoulders. I didn't have to do anything else. Her arms went around my neck, and for a few minutes I did no thinking whatsoever. When we broke it up, Sally seemed a little shaky herself.
That was nice, Race.
I thought so, too.
Shall we have that dinner now?
If you don't mind, I'll pass it up for now.
And in the meantime?
I'm going back on that vessel.
We'll return to the adventures of Frank Race in just about 1 minute. And now, back to the adventures of Frank Race.
There was something wrong with the Hackensack Victory. I was sure of that. and I couldn't drop the feeling that Sally Deneen was in on it. The gangplank of the ship was up, so I picked a mooring line and managed a hand-over-hand passage that put me aboard. No one seemed to be around, but the master's cabin was unlocked, and I pushed my way in. It was the same lad, and he started to be trucking it again until he glimpsed the Smith & Wesson in my hand.
Well, what do you want now?
Just a little talk. Why don't you sit down? First, I'd like to know why the remodeling job. The beam up there.
I don't know what you mean.
That beam has just been cased with another piece of wood. Very skillfully, too.
Why would anyone want to do that?
This vessel carries a serial number. It's to be found on her engines, on her compass, on her keel. And it's usually carved into the main beam of the master's cabin.
Who'd want to be changing all that?
I thought maybe you'd like to tell me.
I'm not saying a word about anything.
Maybe you'll talk at police headquarters. Put on your coat.
You can't arrest me. Where's your authority?
In my hand. Get that coat on. He was right. I had no authority. But somehow I was going to get him inside a police precinct. We left the cabin and went to the waist. We got halfway down the gangplank.
That you, Kennedy?
Yeah, but watch out for this fella. He's hijacking me.
Well, well, if it isn't Race. Going somewhere, Race?
They were at the foot of the gangway, all of them. Jacqueline, Grape Eyes, and Nemo.
Take it carefully. He's got a gun on my side.
We got rods, too. 3 of them. Why don't you try coming by, Race?
Listen, Jacqueline. Listen carefully. I'm coming down with Kennedy in front of me. And you lads are going to back away to the left. Make any bad moves and I start blasting. I've forgotten that Grape Eyes wasn't exactly the rational type. I never cared for high dives, but it was either Jacqueline or a jackknife. I must have been a sad sight parading around with that oil slick all over me. But I paraded. At police headquarters, I wrote a description of Captain Kennedy and swore out a warrant for his arrest. Then I went to the hotel and scrubbed myself for about an hour and crawled into bed. I slept hard until... Yes?
Good afternoon.
Oh, hello, you. I'm sorry about last night. Adventure reared its delaying head.
All is forgiven. As a matter of fact, we're getting together tonight. Aunt Carrie, Uncle Matt, you and I. If you aren't too busy.
Ooh. Is this for dinner?
In your honor. The address is 122 Roland Lane.
St. Francis Wood?
That's it.
I'll be there scrubbed and combed. 122 Roland Lane turned out to be an attractive sort of place. Monterey style, not unusually large. When I got inside, I was provided with the surprise of finding Chalmers Latham on hand. He drew me to one side.
Anything to report?
First, you told me. Did Sally Deneen and her brother ever patch up that disagreement they had a few years ago?
No, they never patched it up.
Where is the brother?
Haven't any idea.
Does anyone have any idea?
What are you getting at?
If the brother were to die, would Sally come into any money?
To the best of my knowledge, his will cuts her off with a customary $1. Oh, there's Carrie and Matt. I'll talk to you later.
Well, what have you been doing with yourself, Mr. Ace?
Suppose I could say I've been looking for victory ships.
Oh? Are there a lot of them?
Good heavens, my dear. There were hundreds of them built during the war. And many a welder lost his life working between their double hulls.
Some of them weren't built very well. A number of them are broken apart at sea.
And that could have happened to ours, couldn't it, Race?
Yeah.
You look pensive, Race. Did you hear me? I said you look pensive.
Yeah, it must be this cigarette. I'm trying a new brand.
Oh, come now, Race.
Or maybe it's because I just realized what happened to those 2 vessels.
You what?
All right, Race, let's have it.
If you own ships insured for $250,000 apiece, it's sometimes profitable to collect that insurance, isn't it?
Quite profitable.
But it would be more profitable if you could collect the insurance and still have the ships, wouldn't it? More profitable and less open to detection.
What are you driving at?
Victory ships, and the fact that so many of them were built. Ships that are exact duplicates except for their registry. Some of them are worth $250,000. Others you can pick up as salvage for a few thousand.
Please come to the point, Mr. Race.
The Hackensack Victory was originally bought for a salvage price, wasn't it?
I think so. I believe our company had it refitted.
And that happens to be my point. The Hackensack Victory was never actually rebuilt.
What?
The Hackensack Victory isn't the Hackensack Victory at all. It's the Jackson Victory, one of the ships you were supposed to have lost.
Why, you must be insane.
It makes quite a picture. You have a sound vessel insured for a fat amount. You buy a battered sister ship for a couple of dimes, sink it somewhere, then transfer its identity to the valuable ship and declare the good one lost. Sweet maritime racket for somebody.
But who? Who among us would do a thing like that?
I beg your pardon, madam. There's a phone call from Mr. Race.
It was the hotel, relaying a message from police headquarters. They picked up Kennedy and wanted me to come in and identify him. Sally had come to the phone with me, and I told her about it.
Never mind calling a cab. We'll take my car. Come on.
What could I say? We went to the car and blew out of there. Took me several minutes before I realized she was headed away from the city instead of toward it. I let out a yelp.
Just relax, Race, and everybody will be happy.
Hey, you little ninny, what are you trying to do?
I'm sorry, Race. The company's been losing money for some time. I guess that brother of mine just couldn't take it. But I care for him, Race. I care for him, even though we don't get along. I care for him too much to see him disgraced.
Why, you little idiot, slow down.
Don't move, Race. I'll wreck us if you do.
I knew what I had to do. Grab the wheel with one hand and hit her with the other. It'd be touch and go, but... Well, have you ever tried to stop a speeding car with an unconscious girl flopping all over you? I took time out to make sure she wasn't too badly hurt. Then I swung the bus around and headed it back. She came around pretty soon, but didn't say anything. Just sat there letting me make the plays. The police had Kennedy all right, in the hospital. But it wasn't easy to identify him. His features had been altered too much, and he was unconscious, almost dead. I left the place, and Sally and I drove slowly back to St. Francis Wood. It was pretty late by then, and the house was dark. But I went in anyway. In the dim light of the living room, I took Sally in my arms. And in spite of what I had done to her, she responded.
All right. When we care for each other the way we do, is it necessary for you to be so hard about things? Can't you work for me instead of the insurance company?
Sally, what do you think happened to the crews of those two ships?
Well, I don't know. It hadn't occurred to me.
It occurred to me. I believe they were murdered. And, Sally...
Yes?
I think your brother has been murdered, too.
Oh. I'll take it, Race.
I let her. She needed something to
Yes?
concentrate on after a wallop like that. Quite a lot of conversation seemed to come from the other end.
That's good.
Finally, still holding the phone, Sally turned to me.
It's the police. Captain Kennedy has regained consciousness, but they don't expect it will be for long. They want to know if you have any suggestions.
Here, let me have him. Hello. See if you can get a statement from him, will you, Inspector? And keep driving at him with one name, Matthew Farrell. Keep repeating it to him, and I think you'll blow the whole thing wide open. Oh, that's funny.
What's the matter, Race?
The line seems to have gone dead.
It's been dead for several seconds, Race. I cut it just before you offered my name to the police.
Uncle Matt!
He stood there fully dressed, and he was gripping what seemed to be a Luger, gripping it steadily.
What made you suspicious, Race?
In New York, you said you knew nothing about shipping. Tonight, you spoke of welding double hulls. And then I imagine there's a will, isn't there? Bob Dineen's will, leaving his share of the company to you and your wife.
My wife had nothing to do with it.
No, I can believe that.
And you're going to have nothing to do with it. Either of you. I'm sorry, Sally.
Oh.
He had a gun on me, but he was looking at Sally. It was a chance I had to take. I dove at it.
Race!
It's all right.
Oh, he's
Dead. Yes. Had to be him or us.
Oh, Race!
Yes, Sally. I know. Violence isn't part of your world, is it? You really don't have any courage.
We were all right. Until you came.
I'm sorry to disturb your sheltered little world, Sally. But hiding from things doesn't make it a better world than mine. Maybe we'd better take a rain check on each other. And, give Chalmers Latham a message for me, will you? Just tell him there's no charge. This one is on me.
The Adventures of Frank Race, starring Tom Collins, came to you from Hollywood. The series is written and directed by Buckley Angel and Joel Murcott. The music is composed and played by Ivan Ditmars. Be sure to be with us again this time 1 week from today for another dramatic chapter in The Adventures of Frank Race. This is a Bruce Ells production.
Ladies and gentlemen, we take great pleasure in presenting in dramatic form another of the stories especially selected for us by Edwin Balmer, the distinguished editor of Red Book magazine. We are pleased to announce that the publishers of Red Book have given us special permission to broadcast these stories. Mr. Balmer is here in the studio with us, and before the story begins, we're going to ask him to tell you why he selected The No Man by Frederick Hazlitt Brennan. Mr. Balmer.
Frederick Hazlitt Brennan, who wrote The No Man, is one of the literary sensations of recent years. Only a short time ago, he was a newspaper reporter in St. Louis. There he began to put in short stories some of the surprising things he saw and experienced. New things were happening. New people of all sorts were appearing in American cities, and he was the first to put many of them authentically upon a page. Naturally, the magazines began competing for his stories, and naturally, Hollywood howled for him to come out there and make pictures. He did so, and he saw Hollywood as only he could. The No Man is a story of Hollywood, written by the super brilliant reporter Frederick Hazlitt Brennan, and we are delighted to give it to you.
Thank you, Mr. Balmer. Now for the story. Max Lowell is the president of Independent Pictures Incorporated. A supervisor, a director, and 2 writers have just filed out of his office, and he sinks back in his chair with a snort of disgust. The disturbing thought of Brian Byrne crosses his mind. Only a week ago, that trouble-making, insulting Irish or lowlife Byrne had stood in that very office and blurted out,
"You're the world's prize fall guy, Max. You let these Hollywood chiselers make a sap out of you 40 times a day. You enjoy it. You'd sell your soul for a yes and a slap on the back. You're just dumb."
And Max Lowell had risen in his wrath and shouted,
"Get out! Never do I want to see your Irish face again. I'm dumb, am I? You lowlife, you Irisher, get out!"
And Max had meant every word he said. But now, for a moment, as he leans back in his swivel chair, he wishes the lowlife Irisher were back with him. Brian Byrne would tell you the truth, always the truth. Money meant nothing to Brian. But no, the fellow was insufferable. Max dismisses the thought of Brian and pushes the electric button to summon his secretary.
You rang for me, Mr. Lowell?
Why won't somebody tell me the truth, Miss Hurst? Am I too unreasonable to hear the truth?
Well, I thought that...
I shot the story of those 2 second-rate playwrights full of holes in 10 minutes, and they didn't stick to their guns. They backed down and they yesed me. Everybody yeses me.
Oh, yes, sir.
And when they go back east, they'll give out interviews saying they don't want to let us write anything good in Hollywood. They don't want that.
Most of them do that.
The only man we ever had around here who knew what he was doing and would tell the truth was Brian Boyne.
Would you like me to get hold of Mr. Byrne for you? I'm sure I could locate him.
No. 7 times I've had to take him back, and 7 times I had to fire him again. I can't stand that man.
You know it's 10 o'clock, Mr. Lowell.
Yes, I'm an hour late with all of my appointments. I know. You don't have to tell me.
Mr. Reisman's office called.
Reisman?
Yes. He said you promised to talk to him at 9:30 about buying that chain of theaters.
I should spend $12 million and change the company's policy without even thinking it over? Tell him I'll see him later.
Mr. Loomis called that he'll have our Modern Wives with all the retakes ready to run at noon.
Loomis will have to wait. Maybe I can run our Modern Wives after dinner.
And Mrs. Lowell called. Twice. She said it was very important.
Operator, get Mrs. Lowell for me.
Mr. Loomis said our Modern Wives should have a $2 Broadway opening. He said it's too good for a regular release.
Well, what else should it be? We spent $700,000 on that picture. Hello? Hello, Mama. Oh, she's not there. Oh, she left for my office. Good. She's on her way here now.
Mr. Lowell's office? Mrs. Lowell's in the waiting room.
Send her right in, will you?
Ask her to come right into Mr. Lowell's office. She'll be right in.
Mama.
So, Papa, if you're so busy you have no time for your own family.
Oh, listen, have I kept you waiting in the reception room, huh?
I sit by the telephone the whole morning, and all I hear is, Mr. Lowell's busy now, Mr. Lowell can't speak to you now.
No, Mama, you know I got conferences on every minute. What is it now? The swimming pool leaks again, huh?
Swimming pool? I wish it was only the swimming pool.
It's all right, so if it's not the swimming pool...
Now,
so...
Max, I want you should listen and not get all excited.
What's the matter? Has Reba broke up the new car? Answer me at once.
Car? I wish it was the car. Reba's left home. That's what Reba's done.
What? Reba left home?
Now, Papa, don't get all excited.
Oh, when did she leave? Why? Where? Answer me at once. Has she eloped?
She went to Lake Arrowhead with Terry Lothar and another boy and girl with no chaperone. A sassy little no-good, without a chaperone, mind you, for 3 or 4 days.
Well, you didn't let her go, did you?
Don't be foolish. Of course I didn't.
Then, of course
But she went.
What?
She packed her things and she went, and she said she wasn't ever coming back home again.
Well, we must bring her back. We must do something. What can we do?
If you hadn't got mad and fired that Brian Boyne, he would have got Reba back for us.
Brian Boyne?
He had a way with Reba. He was the only one that could ever do anything with her.
Miss Hurst?
Oh, yes, Mr. Lowell.
I want you should find Brian Boyne. Try Caliente first. Maybe he went to Palm Springs or to Big Bear. Or maybe Frisco, Las Vegas.
I heard he was in Seattle on Thursday.
Well, try Seattle. Try everywhere. Quick.
I'll find him.
No, Mama, don't cry. Brian will get River back to us, all right? Don't worry. That Irish lowlife can do it, all right.
If we find him, Papa, we've got to get him. We found Mr. Byrne, Mr. Lowell.
At last. Where?
He's in jail at Santa Barbara.
Good. What is he in for?
He had a fight with a highway cop who was trying to arrest some girl for speeding.
Let me see. Who do I know in Santa Barbara that can get him out?
Oh, Mr. John Mayer, the banker, could do it.
Good. Wire him about it. And put in a call to the Santa Barbara jail for me right away.
I have the jail for you already. The switchboard's holding the call for you.
Hello? Give me that call to the jail. Yes. Hello? Say, listen. This is Mr. Max Lowell, president of Independent Pictures. I want you to let me speak to Brian Boyne. Brian Boyne, you've got him in there. Say, is this the chief? What? Brian won't speak to me. Listen. I want you to tell Mr. Boyne that it ain't business I want to talk to him about. Tell him it's my little girl, Reba. My little Reba, you understand? Good. Hello, Brian, is that you? Now, listen, Brian, I don't want you should act this way. What I said and what you said ain't neither here nor there. Reba has run away. Yes. Her mama is all upset and crying for her. And listen, I don't feel any too good either. Brian, listen, you got to find her and you got to bring her home. Listen, would you want my little Reba to marry an actor? You told me yourself we should not let her be taken in by some no-good Hollywood lowlife. Yes. She told her mama she went to Lake Arrowhead, yes. I'll get you out, Brian. Already I've wired you $5,000. Yeah, I want you to leave for Arrowhead at once. Hire a plane or anything, but bring little Reba back to her mama, yes. Now listen, Brian. Listen. Oh, he hung up.
He's going to do it for you.
Yes, Brian will try.
Mr. Loomis is still holding an operator to run our Modern Wives. It's 6 o'clock. And Mr. Reisman wants to know if you'll dine with him at the Roosevelt.
Tell them both I'm too busy. Hey, the truth is I'm too worried. I'm going home now to wait for Reba.
It's after midnight, Papa. You'd better call the police here.
No, don't worry, Mama. Brian will bring Reba home all right. That's all right. Don't worry.
Maybe it's Reba.
Oh, a car. Mama, it's a car.
Hey, Max!
Mama, Papa.
Reba.
Oh, I'm so glad to be home, Mama. Oh, it's all right now, Reba. It's all right.
No, don't you worry, Reba. What was it that happened?
I trusted Carrie, Papa. He's a big bum and a coward.
Well, what has he done?
Oh, he wanted me to leave with the others at Lake Arrowhead and elope with him to Las Vegas.
And I arrived just in time to spank him and get Reba away.
Hey, Brian, I can never thank you enough for this.
Forget it.
No, listen. Take your mama upstairs, Reba, and tell her you'll never run away from her again. Go on, Mama. Go.
Ahead, Mama.
Hey, wait a minute. Where are you going, Brian?
I've got a long drive ahead of me, Max, and I want to be started.
Now, listen, don't go, Brian. Listen, you got to come back. I need you.
Nothing doing, Max. You don't get me back on any crummy job for you.
But listen...
I told you I was through, and I meant it.
But, Brian, I got to show you our Modern Wives. It's the best talkie V or anybody else ever made. George Brock, he said so.
So George Brock said so.
Yes, and we got a big deal to buy big theaters. 200 theaters. Bernie says never in his life did he ever see such a bargain.
So that's what Bernie said.
Listen, I know for once in your life you'll agree with George and Bernie.
Agree with those chiselers? I'll bet the picture's a flop, and that theater deal smells of Bernie.
No. It's a fine picture and a fine deal, too.
Well, I got to be going. I brought Reba home, and that's enough.
And you know Sonia Sylvia? She's a rave in the picture, Brian. We got to sign her quick for a year or two.
I swore I'd never mess around with you again. I'm going.
Oh, please, Brian. Just these two things you got to do for me. The deal and the picture. I need you to help me.
Can't you find one other man in this confounded town who'll tell you the truth occasionally?
Oh, they ain't like you, Brian. They all got axes to grind. They want money or big jobs or something.
Listen, then, and I'll tell you something. I saw some rushes of that picture before I quit.
You did?
Yes, and it's just a good program, hot tamale.
What do you mean? It's the best thing we've ever done. It should have a Broadway opening.
Cut it to 6,000 feet and throw out all that symbolic stuff.
Cut it to 6,000?
Write in some more scenes for that little Withrow girl. She'll steal the picture from Sylvia anyway. Withrow will be a second gainer if she's handled right.
A second gainer? Well, maybe you're right, Brian.
And as for that theater deal, have you checked up on the appraisal yourself?
Oh, Bernie always handles the business office.
Bernie's a double-crossing chiseler.
Oh, that's not so. Bernie's my friend. Bernie wouldn't do that.
See, there you go. Oh, what's the use of telling you the truth? You don't want to hear it.
You're right, Brian. I got to have the truth, but it hurts.
Well, what if it does?
Well, it makes me so mad I wish I could never hear it again. But always I have to come back for more.
You let those chiselers make a fool out of you.
Well, listen, a man has got to trust somebody. You're the only one left, Brian. You've got to come back to work for me. You've just got to.
Nothing doing. I'm like all the rest. Pretty soon I'd be yesing you, too.
Oh, you'd never do that. Listen, I'll pay you anything you ask. And may I fall down dead if I fire even once more.
Nothing doing, Maxie. We're quits, and I'm heading back to Santa Barbara.
Santa Barbara? What's in Santa Barbara for you?
A girl, Maxie. And I'm going to get back there as fast as I can drive.
A girl? You, Brian, and a girl?
That's what I said.
Well, listen, Brian. If you love a girl, you'll need money. You must make something of yourself.
Yeah, that's a good line.
Listen, you're the best all-around picture man I ever knew. Writing, directing, supervising, they're all easy for you.
I said I was going back to Santa Barbara, Max.
Wait, Brian, wait. Think it over. Wait.
Nothing doing, Max. So long.
You want a job when you get married. You'll see if you don't.
Mr. Bryan to see you, Mr. Laws.
Brian Boyne? Show him in.
This way, Mr. Burns.
Thank you.
Brian, am I surprised?
Well, you win, Maxie. I've come to take that job.
Great. Fine. That makes me so happy, I would be ashamed to tell you.
I was married 2 days ago. When do I start to work and where?
Sit down. Sit down, my boy. You'll start right in directing a new picture that I've got an idea for.
What's the story?
Listen while I tell it to you. It's all wow. A girl who used to run with crooks marries the district attorney and doesn't tell him about her past. Her old gangster boyfriend is framed for murder, and the district attorney tries him. She knows that he is innocent. Shall she tell what she knows to save him and probably lose her husband, or shall she let him die? How's that for a situation?
Not bad, Max. Not bad at all.
You really mean that, Brian?
Why, yes, of course.
What's that? What's that you said?
I said yes.
You said yes. You're yesing me.
I know, Max, but...
Listen, Brian, I got a job for you, but it ain't here. It's down on that ranch of mine below Caliente. I want you should go down and run it for me. I want you should leave at once. The yacht is at Wilmington. Take it. Get out of here tonight. Get out before I change my mind, and I'll let you stay here to yes me.
Yes, sir.
Oh, I assure you.
This story, The No Man, by Frederick Hazlitt Brennan, was broadcast by special permission of the publishers of Red Book magazine. Next week at this same time, we take pleasure in announcing that we will present another Red Book story in dramatic form. This story was adapted for the radio by Lawrence Holcomb.
To the men, living and dead, who did these things, we dedicate this program, The Dam Busters, presented by the author himself, Paul Brickhill, dramatized by Morris West, an Australasian radio production.
Good evening. This is Paul Brickhill. Leonard Cheshire was always a man of ideas, and as I've pointed out before, some of them were quite brilliant. One had been hatching in his mind for some time, and he finally worked it out when Cloud forced the squadron back from Viserne, a huge concrete German rocket store. The minute Cheshire landed his Lancaster, he rushed across to discuss the thought with his flight commanders.
Listen, Mac, I've been thinking of an idea.
Well, if it's good and gets us home quicker and doesn't leave us dancing around in a box barrage, I could be interested. Otherwise, no.
Well, I think it'll help us.
What'll help us, Skipper? More leave?
Oh, hello, Davy. No, actually, it's a marking idea that I've been working on.
New ideas mean new training. I'm too browned off for that.
Well, I doubt that this will take that much. Besides, we're not going to get any time for training while these buzz bomb things are still being dropped on London.
No, I suppose not. Been reading the papers. They're murderous damn things, aren't they?
Yes, Davy. Well, this is the idea. We've found that we did much better marking with a Mosquito than with a Lancaster. The reason? The Mosquito's faster and more maneuverable. Right?
Elementary, my dear Skipper.
And yet, even with a Mosquito, we're in trouble when there are heavy flak installations.
Also quite elementary.
So, if we could get an aircraft with the speed of a fighter and the range of a light bomber like the Mozzie, we'd have exactly the job we needed. Check?
Check again, but where do we get one of the wonderful things? Remember we couldn't even get overload tanks to take us to Munich?
Davy, can't you ever forget that one?
No, I'm damned if I can.
Well, okay. Tell me, Mac, do you know if the Yanks have got anything like the sort of job we need?
Oh, I've just been wondering about that, and as a matter of fact, oh, of course, why didn't I think of it? The P-38 or a Mustang, for that matter, the American fighters have got the range you want.
Mac, I think you've hit it. Well, the next question is, how do we get one?
Yeah, through AOC, through Bomber Command, through Air Ministry to the appropriate American authority. The war will be over before you get one, Skipper.
Well, at least it's worth it. Excuse me.
Sure.
Cheshire speaking. Oh, it's you, Sam. Yes? What's that? Tonight? Yes, sir. Very good, sir. All right, sir, I'll wait for it. Oh, by the way, sir, I'll send you a note on this in the morning, but I'd like you to get it moving today, if possible. I want to get hold of an American P-38 or a Mustang. Yes, that's right, sir. A new idea for fast, low, accurate marking. All right, sir. Oh, good. Yes, I'd appreciate that. Yes, sir. Fine, fine. Goodbye, sir.
Well, what gives now, Skipper?
We're going out again tonight.
Ah.
Where to this time, sir?
Another smack at the rocket installations on the French coast.
Yeah, I got a match.
Well, chaps, you've got the place and you've got your flight plan.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I want you to take a look at the target itself.
What?
As you can see from these photographs, it's a large concrete dome on the edge of a quarry. Just here. You see, it's easy enough to identify. Now, this dome, we believe, houses rocket stores and firing installations.
Skipper, how thick is it?
Intelligence says it's about 20 feet thick, maybe more. And now, look at this photograph. This is the face of the quarry itself. These shadows are tunnels leading right into the side of the hill. And these fine markings here are probably railway lines. We believe that the launching mechanism for the rockets is run out on those rails.
Yeah.
The rocket is fired, and then the launching platform is run back into the hill again. Oh, by the way, the whole of this cliff faces westward.
Look, what's the actual target area, Skipper?
Yeah.
Well, anywhere around the dome, and of course the tunnels and rails themselves, it's roughly defined by these two circles. Now, before you go, I want you to come up and study these photographs very, very carefully.
Oh, are we using tall boys again, Skipper?
Yes, tall boys. So, as before, we can't afford wasteful bombing.
What's the weather like?
Well, tonight, I think it'll be okay.
Great.
Thanks.
Chaps, this is our third crack at this same target. We've just got to make it this time. All right, chaps, rally round and study these photographs.
Okay, Skipper.
Sorry, Skipper, the markers have hung up. I can't release them. Okay, bomb aimer. Give me radio to flight copy. Hello, this is leader calling number 2 marker. Sorry, boy, my marker's hung up. Take over, will you? Okay, Skipper, coming in. Captain to bomb aimer. This flak's getting nasty. Tell me what goes on. Fork's making a beautiful run, Skipper. Lovely, steady approach. Marker's gone. Now, bang on, Skipper. Bang on target. This is leader. This is leader calling all aircraft. Marker's done. Come in and bomb as ordered. Over. Captain to crew. I'll try and draw some of this flak. Tell me what gives. Wilshire coming in now. Lovely approach. Steady, boys, steady. Hold it like this, Skipper. I've got a beautiful view. Holy smoke! Smack in the mouth of the tunnel. Can you see it, Skipper? Can you see it? This is leader calling Q Queenie. Nice work, Dickie. Nice work. Thanks, leader. Please, can I leave the room now? Over. Come in, P. Popsy. Come in, P. Popsy. Captain to crew. Watch him for me. Watch him. He's leveling now, Skipper. Hell of a lot of flak. They're right on him, Skipper. Hell, he's hit. Port wing. He's blazing, Skipper, blazing. He's going into a dive. Bail out, P. Popsy. Bail out, for God's sake. Right. 2 of them out, Skipper. 2 of them out. That's it, Skipper. They blew up. They just blew up. Come in, A. Apple. Come in, A. Apple. Bomb, as ordered.
Yes, sir, that's right. Oh, very successful. Hits were registered all around the target area and right in the mouths of the tunnels. No, sir, we lost one crew, Edwards. They were hit in the wing, caught fire, then blew up when they hit the ground. Yes, sir, very bad luck. It's our first casualty in weeks. Yes, I'd like to see the recce photographs as soon as they come in. By the way, sir, any luck with the Mustang? Oh. Oh, I see. Look here, sir. If we wait for the ministry, we'll get nowhere fast. Have you any objections if I approach the Americans direct? Good. Good. Thank you very much, sir. Yes, I like that way of doing business.
Say, who's that? Oh, Cheshire 617. Sure, we've never met, but I've heard a lot about you. What's that you want? Mustangs? Oh, sure. Yeah, we've got them. How many do you want? Oh, yeah, that's easy. Tell you what I'll do. Have one of my boys bring you one this afternoon. How's that? Good. Yeah, fine. Where do you want it delivered? Woodhull. Yeah, got it, right. Sure, yeah, I can fix that up for you. Oh, no, not at all. Happy to be able to do it. Yeah. Okay, bye. Good luck.
We've got it, Mac. We've got it.
We got what, Skipper?
A Mustang. It's coming over this afternoon.
Well, I take off my hat to you, Skipper. I didn't think you'd get one of those in a month of Sunday.
Oh, just a minute, Mac. Cheshire speaking.
This is Operation, sir.
Yes?
Bomber Command have been through to us, and they want you on the job tonight.
Are you on the Scrambler?
Yes, sir, it's quite safe.
What's the target?
Siricot.
Another rocket, sir?
That's right, sir.
What time do we take off?
1500, sir.
Blazes. All right, we'll be ready. I'll be across to see you in about an hour. Have all the stuff ready for me?
Very good, sir.
More work, Skipper?
Oh, yes, 1500 this afternoon. It's a damn nuisance, though. I'll have to get on to the Yanks again and have the Mustang delivered before lunch. I'll need a little time to get used to it.
You mean to say you're going to use the Mustang on this operation?
Yes, that's right, Mac.
But you're crazy, Skipper. Stark, staring crazy. You haven't flown a single-engine job for 5 years. You won't even have time for more than one circuit and dump. You have to do all your own navigation and your own marking. It just can't be done, Skipper. It's plain suicide. That's what it is.
I'm sorry, Mac, but I'm going to do it. Now get out, will you, like a good chap? I want to talk to the Yanks.
Any word yet from Cheshire?
No, not yet, sir. Should be through any minute now. I say, do you know he took off in the Mustang after only an hour's practice flight?
Yes, I know. I wonder what's going to happen when Cochrane hears about it.
Well, I think that'll depend on whether he gets back alive or not.
Talk about a crazy man.
Oh, he's coming through now, sir.
You'll read it to me.
Lovely visit. Coming home. Well, he's made it. The crazy fool's made it.
Now all he's got to do is land the damn thing.
When he put down at Woodhall after the Syracuse raid, Cheshire lovingly patted his new Mustang and commended her to the ground crew before wandering off the tarmac. He was pleased with the result of the operation, but not in the least prepared for the reception waiting for him in the mess.
Where's my pewter, Mac? How many times I've got to tell you this? What? Hey, chaps, here he comes now. Give it all you got, you right? 1, 2, 3. Why was he born so beautiful? Why was he born at all?
It's all right. What's all the fuss about?
Listen to him. Well, what's all the fuss about? He says, cause be damned.
Yeah. You ever hear about the guy who flew a Mustang by dead reckoning?
Blazes, well, there was nothing in it. After the first half hour, that is.
I hear you made a beautiful limb.
That's him, Shannon, that's him.
That part of it, I don't remember.
Oh, he doesn't remember.
Hey, you know, Skip, there's a motion before the mess that you be promoted Pin-Up Boy of the Year.
Yeah!
Well, I wish you'd cut out this damn nonsense and buy me a beer.
A beer for the gentlemen, chaps. Beer for the gentlemen.
You buy it.
Tinker, tailor, soldier, sailor, bomb aimer, navigator, gunner, wireless operator, skipper!
Well, I don't think I can take much more of this.
Would you like to come and have a drink in my room?
Yes, I think it might be an idea. I'll slip away as soon as I've had a drink with the boys.
Good health.
Oh, good health.
By the way, Cochrane wants you to telephone him in the morning.
Oh, does he? I suppose he's heard about tonight's little business, too.
You didn't expect him not to, did you?
Well, I did think there might be a little delay.
He was hopping mad when he heard you taken off. Then, when he got the news you were back safely, he he just chuckled and said he'd deal with you later.
Oh, good. Well, I'm glad he didn't want to talk to me tonight. I'm tired.
Do you know how many raids you've done?
Oh, at rough count, I'd say about 90.
I've made an exact count, old boy. It's 98.
As many as that? Oh, I wouldn't have thought so.
At the ruling casualty rate, which is 25%, you're living strictly on borrowed time.
No, I hadn't thought of it that way. It's just as well, perhaps.
Statistically, you should have been killed 4 times.
Well, I've been lucky.
That's right. You've been lucky. How long do you think your luck will hold?
Hey, what are you driving at?
You are tired, aren't you?
Well, I suppose I am. After a while, you don't feel anything. You just keep going, more or less automatically.
Having any trouble with your eyes?
No. Why?
Nothing. Nothing. I just thought they looked a bit bloodshot, that's all. Hello? Hello? Oh, this is Pollen, Intelligence Officer, Woodhall Spa. I'd like to speak to Air Vice Marshal Cochrane, please. Yes, I'll hold on. Oh, hello, sir. This is Pollen. Yes, thanks very much, yes, sir. I had a word with Cheshire, as you suggested. No, I didn't say anything about that, sir. He's taken an awful beating, you know. Yes, that's what I was going to say. I think if he goes on much longer, we just won't have him, sir. Yeah. He's got the danger signs, too. Sort of permanent twitching in the right eye. No, he's not conscious of it himself, sir, but it is there. Yes, I agree. Oh, yes, I know, sir, but don't keep him at it too long. Yes. Yes, sir. I'll watch him. Come in. Oh, it's you, Cheshire, old man. I didn't expect you over so soon. Shut the door and pull up a chair.
Well, what have you got for me, Arthur?
There's a bunch of reports Cochrane sent down. He thought we should go over them today.
The rocket sites again.
Again and again and again.
Yeah, if this damn weather would only change, we could do something about them. But with this North Sea cloud, we haven't a tinker's chance in hell.
Cabinet's very worried about it. The position summed up is this. These buzz bomb things are falling on London every day and every night. Hail, rain or shine, they still come over. They're falling on the invasion ports, too. They're doing a terrific amount of damage, and even greater damage to the morale of the people, because they know that we haven't got an answer to them.
Oh, why can't the ground forces do something about them? After all, they've got a foothold in France.
I know, but they're locked in the bridgehead, and even if they did break out, they've still got to cross the Seine to reach the rocket sites.
Which puts it right back into our lap.
Right back into our lap. That's right.
Arthur, we can't do anything more. We honestly can't. You know the way it's been. The boys are up every morning at 4. At 5 o'clock they're briefed and ready to take off. Then they stand by and stand by and stand by till nightfall. Then they're up at 4 the next morning and still waiting. Even when they have taken off, they've been forced back. It's heartbreaking, Arthur. It's heartbreaking.
Yes, I know that, oh boy. It is. It's the old thing. General bad weather. It's an old gag, but he beats the lot of us. Anyway, I think you better take a look at this.
Oh, right. What is it?
It's the latest and most important intelligence report. Our agents have discovered that a large percentage of these rockets and buzz bombs are stored at a place called Creil.
Creil?
Just outside Paris. There's a huge cave there, partly natural, partly man-made. Runs deep under a chalk hill, 25 to 35 feet down. The idea is to collapse and seal it up by using these tall boys of Wallace's. Fortunately, we've got photographs of it and should be a fairly easy target to identify.
Oh, that's one advantage anyway. Is it heavily defended?
Not very. Germans obviously had to choose between secrecy and defense. And they chose secrecy. For that reason, it's fairly lightly defended. Now, take a look at the layout. You see, you take your final bearing from this church spire here.
Sure.
At which moment you should be...
This is Leader calling all aircraft. Leader calling all aircraft. Markers are done, dead on target. It's all yours, chaps. Over.
That makes 99 for you, old boy.
Look here, let's not start counting them, Arthur. I might start to get worried myself.
Sorry. Okay. By Jove, that was a beautiful marking job.
Oh, that's the Mustang, not me. I'm going to suggest to Cochrane that he get a few more. Then we could... Arthur, what are you grinning at?
Nothing. I can't help grinning at you. I've got another job for you.
Well, what is it this time?
You see this place here?
Mimoyek?
Mimoyek, yes. Odd name, isn't it?
Yes. What's that?
Well, to tell you the truth, we don't know for certain. All we do know is that there's a set of big concrete emplacements grouped together. There's some suspicion that they may be those giant guns we've heard about. Yes, sir, you've heard about them too.
Yes.
But we can't prove that, of course, because they're not even in use yet. Anyway, Mimoyek, that's your target for tomorrow. And that's it, old boy. The round 100. Frankly, I don't think you deserve to be alive.
No, frankly, I don't either. Round 100. Ruddy century. You know, I should play for England. If you told me this 3 years ago, I'd have laughed in your face, I think.
Well, I've had the recce photographs back on both operations.
Oh, I'll take a look at them in the morning. Anything important?
The buzz bomb store at Crail just caved in. The entrance collapsed and the railway was wrecked.
And the other ones at Mimoyek?
1 direct hit and 4 near misses. Good enough.
We're so good, it's getting monotonous.
That's about the strength of it. Oh, by the way...
Yes, Arthur, what is it?
Cochrane wants to see you at group tomorrow.
Oh, does he? Have you any idea what it's about?
Actually, I have, but I think he'd prefer to tell you himself.
Well, I think perhaps I'd prefer you to tell me, Arthur. If there are any shocks coming, I'd rather be prepared for them.
All right. So long as you don't tell Cochrane I told you.
Oh, I won't.
Tonight you did your 100th trip. Cochrane thinks that's enough. You're being grounded.
Well...
If you're thinking of arguing about it, I'll tell you now you haven't got a chance. Shannon, Monroe, and McCarthy are being grounded with you. Well, that's it, old boy.
You know something, Arthur? It's not the conventional thing to say, but I'm glad it's over. I'm glad for myself, and I'm glad for the boys. It's been a long time now. Long, long time.
To Dr. Danfield. The human mind is like a cave. Beyond the light, there are dark passageways and mysterious recesses. I, Dr. Daniel Danfield, have explored those unknown retreats and know their secrets. Dr. Daniel Danfield, authority on crime psychology, has an unhappy faculty for getting himself mixed up in hazardous predicaments because of his astonishing revelations regarding the workings of the criminal mind. As our story opens, we find Dr. Danfield in his office dictating to his pretty young secretary, Rusty Fairfax. Period, paragraph. And the facts that I'm about to relate will definitely prove my theory that even seasoned criminals are often influenced by outside agencies. The opening incident took place in an abandoned warehouse some few weeks ago. A man and a woman were target practicing.
Okay, Nick, wait a minute. I'll take a look at the target.
Huh? How am I doing?
You're doing all right, Nicky boy. You're doing all right. 8 bullseyes out of 10 shots.
Yeah? Not bad, huh, Trixie?
Not bad at all, Nick. I figured you'd get better with a little practice. Guess we can handle that bank job anytime now.
Why, sure. Bank job?
Yeah, the First National Trust. Remember?
Oh, yeah, I remember. Look, Trixie, let's forget the bank job, huh? Look, I got an in on the numbers racket with Bugs Flambeau.
Bugs Flambeau, that small-time punk.
Okay, then we'll get into something else. Banks is out of my line, Trixie.
Well, they're going to be in your line from now on, big boy. Now get that and get it straight.
Oh, listen, Trixie.
You listen, you two-timing lug. Trixie Talbot don't waste her time on nobody and then let him walk out on her, see? Nobody.
Okay, Trixie, okay.
Tied up with me, so I gotta get you out of the small time. Okay. So I went to work and I begun teaching you the angles, all right. So now we're ready to move and you ain't welcome, see?
Yeah, but you didn't say nothing about a bank job.
Didn't I? Well, I'm saying it now. It's the First National Trust tomorrow at noon. Or do you still want to go back to the numbers racket?
No, Trixie, you wouldn't.
Wouldn't I, Nicky boy? I guess you don't know Trixie Talbot. Because maybe you forgot how straight she can shoot. Let me show you something, Nicky boy. You see what I mean, Nicky boy?
Yeah, I see. Both of them right in the bullseye. Oh, you're good, all right, Trixie.
You're darn right I'm good. I got a reputation and I'm keeping it. Nobody ain't going to say they walked out on Trixie Talbot. You can't afford to have that kind of talk going around.
Oh, yeah, I get it, Trixie. You got a reputation to think of.
I like you, Nicky boy. I figured you were smart. I figured we could go places together. That's why I let you come in with me.
Sure, Trixie. You give me a chance, all right. I ain't forgetting it.
Come here, Nicky boy.
Yeah. Trixie?
Put your arms around me.
Yeah.
No. You see what I mean, Nicky boy?
Yeah. You're all right, Trixie. Gee, I'm crazy about you.
That's better. We'll get along, big boy.
Oh, sure, Trixie. We'll get along all right.
Tomorrow at noon, we begin moving in on the big time. We start going places, you and me. Tomorrow at noon. Yeah? This is it, Nick.
Yeah.
All set?
Sure. I'm all set. Let's get going.
Take it easy, big boy. Don't get nervous. Remember what you're supposed to do?
Yeah. We've been over it enough times. What are we waiting for?
All right, Nicky boy. Relax now. Hold the bank book in your left hand like you was going to make a deposit. Keep the other hand on the heat in your pocket.
Yeah, I know. Oh, come on.
Okay, let's go.
Hey, there's a cop.
Shut up. That guy'd fall over in a faint if he thought there was going to be a stick-up. Well, here we are, dear. Give the man your book.
Yeah. Okay, pal. This is a stick-up. Don't move or you'll get it.
Yes, sir. What do you want? What do you think we want, chump? Shove that 14 stuff this way.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Now get into the vault and bring out everything you can carry.
No, forget that, Trixie. We got all
Shut up. Go on, you.
Yes, sir.
And don't forget there's a gun pointing in your back.
Trixie, look. The cop.
Forget the cop. I said he ain't gonna hurt.
Got those guns.
Are you dumb flat-footed?
Trixie, don't! Trixie, you shouldn't.
Shut up. Come on, let's get out of here. I need some punch. Let him have it, Dick. No, we can't make Let him go.
In a moment, we'll return for the second act of Danger, Dr. Danfield. But first... And now for the second act of... Danger, Dr. Danfield.
Well, that's the story of the holdup, Doc. You got any ideas so far?
Indeed I have, Captain Otis. First of all, if this bank robber was a seasoned criminal, you should have no difficulty in establishing his identity.
That's the point entirely. He's got files and records on every daylight bank robber in the country. This pair didn't follow the customary pattern at all. That's why we thought you might be interested.
What do you think, Miss Fairfax?
I think you're sticking your chin out if you want to know. Captain Otis has got something else in mind besides asking your advice on the workings of the criminal mind.
Miss Fairfax, such blunt frankness at a time like this.
Blame the young lady, Doc. As a matter of fact, she's right. I've got something else in mind. You want to hear it?
By all means, Captain Otis.
Good. For more than a week, my boys have been bringing in and questioning every known hold-up man in the city. So far, they haven't got the first base. The way I see it, they've been looking in the wrong places for the wrong kind of a guy.
That's a logical deduction, Captain.
Yesterday, a young trooper, Sidney Richards, in an upstate town, noticed smoke coming from what he supposed was an abandoned house. Went up to investigate and hasn't been heard from since.
Wait a minute. If he hasn't been heard from since, how do you know he saw smoke? And how do you know he went up to investigate?
It's logical, but what happened, Miss Fairfax? That's what happened. We found the tire marks of his motorbike going up the lane that leads into the house, but none returning.
So you assume that whoever was living in the house prevented young Richards from returning?
That's exactly what we think, Doc.
Well, why don't you go up there and find out, for heaven's sake?
For a very definite reason, Miss Fairfax. Suppose the people who are living in the house are our bank robbers. Suppose they've taken Trooper Richards prisoner and holding him hostage.
Suppose they are. They can't hold him forever. What are you going to do? Just sit around and wait?
Miss Fairfax, may I make a suggestion?
Sure, Dan. Go ahead.
Stop asking so many questions. Let Captain Otis finish his story.
All right.
The life of one state trooper, Miss Fairfax, is worth the lives of a dozen criminals. We have a plan whereby we can keep young Richards alive.
Go on, Captain.
2 days ago, the Boston police captured one of the most ruthless killers this country has ever known. You've probably heard of him. He's called the Professor.
The Professor?
Yes, a very unusual type. For years, I've hoped for the chance to study him.
Doc, we're going to give you that chance. The Professor is being held incommunicado by the Boston police. We want you to go up there and look him over.
Splendid, splendid. I'll leave at once.
Just a minute, Doc. That's only half the deal.
Here it comes.
Assuming that the people in the abandoned house are our bank robbers, and that they're holding Trooper Richards as hostage, there's only one person who could get to them without arousing their suspicions.
I think I'm beginning to understand, Captain. You want me to assume the identity of the Professor and make a call on your fugitives.
That's it, Doc. You kind of look like the Professor. He's a smooth-acting gent, and so are you.
No, don't do it, Dan.
Miss Fairfax, please. There'll be no danger.
No danger? Do you know what you're saying? The first thing those two are going to ask is, how did you know they were hiding in that house?
We're prepared for that, Miss Fairfax. 2 days from now, there'll be a daring daylight hold-up in the neighboring town of Bolton. The crime will be attributed to the Professor.
The Professor, but you said that
the crime will merely be attributed to the Professor. Newspapers and radio broadcasts will attest to that fact.
Excellent, excellent. It'll only be natural for the Professor to take refuge in the abandoned house.
That's it, Doc. Those two fugitives did. Why not the Professor?
I still say it's crazy. What if the fugitives had met the Professor before? What if
It isn't likely that any small-time operators would know a big shot like the Professor by sight. He'd be careful not to let them.
Quite right, Captain. Besides, this will give me a splendid opportunity to study some unusual types at close hand.
Dan, you can't go.
Nonsense, Miss Fairfax. A man's life is at stake.
Yours will be, too, if you're sucker enough to agree to this plan. Anyway, your birds will probably have flown by the time you get there.
There's not a chance of that. The house is being watched day and night.
So you see, Miss Fairfax, it's quite safe.
It isn't. You'll be murdered. I know you will.
And if I don't go, Trooper Richards will be murdered.
Well, then I'm going, too.
Of course you're not going.
I am. I'm going to call Mario.
Miss Fairfax, try and be reasonable for a change. Mario's on his vacation, you know that. Anyway, the plan wouldn't work if three of us attempted to take refuge in the abandoned house. Come along, Captain. We'll catch the first train to Boston.
Dan, come back here. Oh, the crazy idiot. Hello, operator. I want Western Union. Western Union? I want to send a telegram to Mario Consoletti.
Hi, Nicky boy. Come on in. How's Trooper Richards this morning?
Okay, I guess. Look, Trixie, I have to keep the guy tied up all the time.
Do we have to keep him tied up? Oh, Nicky, boy, sometimes I think you got softening of the brain.
Okay, maybe I have. Maybe having to stay here cooped up in this lousy dump is driving me nuts. Maybe
Shut up.
No, I want to get out of here. I was a sucker to listen to you in the first place.
You got anything else to say, Nicky boy?
Don't, Trixie, put the gun away.
Yeah, I'll put it away. But one more crack out of you, chum, and the next time I don't miss.
Okay, Trixie, okay. You don't need to worry about me.
I better not need to worry about you, you dumb punk. If it went for me, you'd be cooling your shins in a cell right now.
Yeah, I know it, Trixie. You're right. Forget I said anything, will you?
You better crawl, you little weasel. This is the thanks I get for putting you in the big time.
Yeah. But if we could only get out of here.
You'll get out of here when the heat's off. Not until.
Suppose they find it.
Oh, don't be a dope. I've had this hideout case for a week. Nobody'll find us here.
Yeah? The motor cop did.
All right, so the motor cop found us. Why? Because you were dumb enough to light a fire. Why, just for that, I ought to shoot your ears off, you.
Oh, forget it, will you? I already admitted it was my fault, didn't I?
Yeah, that's a big help admitting it. How do I know you were pulled some other dumb trick?
I won't, Trixie, so help me.
You better not.
But how long do we have to stay here anyway?
Maybe tomorrow, maybe the next day. Depends on how things look.
2 more days? Look, Trixie, that cop's going to be missed. They're going to come looking for him.
Madam, we're in the driver's seat, no matter which way you figure it. Anybody comes here looking for that cop, we'll make a deal with him.
You mean?
Yeah, I mean. What do you suppose we've been keeping him alive for? Now quit asking so many questions. He ain't got nothing to worry about.
Yeah. I guess you're right, Trixie. If they was looking for the cop, we'd have heard it on the radio.
Sure we would. The battery's brand new. Turn it on. Let's have some music.
Sure. Okay, Trixie. I'll turn it on.
And it has now become definitely established that the lone bandit who shot and killed the paymaster of Robert's Lumber Mill was the gangster known as the Professor. State police are making an intensive search of the countryside near Bolton.
Well, how do you like that? The Professor's operating again, and in Bolton, too.
The Professor? I thought he was laying low after the Chicago job.
Well, looks like he got tired of laying low, Nicky boy. Oh, them dumb cops. Thinking they can catch the Professor. Oh, Nicky boy, there's a character I'd like to meet. Him and me could go places together. Yes, sir, there's a guy who's got what it takes.
You ain't never met him, Trixie?
Of course I ain't. There's few that have. He's a smart operator, that lad. You ought to study the Professor's technique. Maybe it'll get someplace.
Oh, Trixie, ain't I doing all right?
That's Professor. Yes, sir. Him and me could go places together.
Yes, Trixie. Hey, what's it?
It's an automobile.
Look, it's coming up the lane. It's the cops. I knew.
Shut up.
They'll get us. We ain't got a chance.
Shut up, I say, you dumb cluck. That ain't no cop.
What do you mean it ain't no cop?
Because there's only one of them. You think a cop would come driving up here in broad daylight like that? Some punk has lost his way, or maybe wants a drink of water or something.
So, what are we going to do? If he sees that trooper...
He won't see no trooper. Go and open the door.
What are we going to do? What do you got your gun out for?
Never mind. Go on and do as I say.
Trixie, you ain't gonna...
Ain't I? Nicky, boy, you got a lot to learn in this business. You might just as well begin now. Open the door.
No, Trixie, look... I'll talk to him. Maybe I can turn him away.
You punk. Do you do like I say, or do I blast you, too?
Okay. Okay, Trixie. I'll open it.
Just a moment. We'll return to the third act of Danger Dr. Danfield. But first... And now for the third act of Danger Dr. Danfield.
Punk. You do like I say, or do I blast you, too?
Okay. Okay, Trixie. I'll open it. Yeah? What do you want?
Well, for a moment you rather startled me. I thought there was no one at home.
What do you want?
I was wondering if I could use your telephone. You see, I'm
lost... Come in.
Come on in.
Thank you. Oh, I beg your pardon. I didn't know there was a lady here.
You guessed right. There ain't. Okay. Who sent you?
Sent me? I don't believe I understand. You see, I was on my way.
Come on. Quit stalling. Before I knock you off, I want the answer to a few questions.
Knock me off?
Do you mean you intend shooting me with that gun?
You catch on fast, copper.
Copper? My dear young lady, are you referring to me as a police officer?
Buster, you sure put on a smooth act. Hey, Nick,
Yeah, Trixie?
see what he's got that bag.
Okay, give me the bag, bud. But look here.
Give me the bag.
Very well. Here you are, my man.
All right.
What's in it, Nick?
Jeepers.
Well, what is it?
What is it? Take a look.
Well, I'm a green. Bundles of them.
Oh, come, there isn't so much there. I like to call that my small change purse.
Small change. Say, who are you anyway?
Trixie. I know. That radio broadcast.
Wait a minute. Let me look this lug over.
Does the radio broadcast give a detailed description of the Professor, Trixie?
How did you know my name?
My dear girl, your associate here called you Trixie at least 3 times since I entered the house.
Oh, he did?
Yes, and he referred to, rather you referred to him as Nick. Trixie and Nick. Could it be, no. Trixie Talbot would never allow herself to become involved with, oh, forgive me, I've said too much.
You ain't said nothing. What's the matter with Trixie Talbot?
There's nothing wrong with Trixie Talbot.
Oh, I get it. Hey, Nick.
Yeah, Trixie?
You go on outside and take a look around.
Oh, but look, ain't I...
Go on, quit arguing.
Okay, Trixie, you don't have to get sore.
Oh, that's better. Now, shall I finish what I was about to say, Trixie?
You don't need to, I know. So you're him, huh? You're the professor.
At your service, my dear.
I like that. At your service, he says. Yes, sir, Professor, you're just like they said. A real gentleman.
Thank you, my dear.
Sit down, Professor. Over here. We got a lot to talk about. Yes, sir. We got to get acquainted.
Drive a little faster, Mario. Dr. Danfield may be dead by now.
No, not the doc. He's a very funny fellow, the doc. Sometimes I think maybe he never died.
Maybe it's funny to you, but it isn't to me. Dr. Danfield's in danger, and we've got to save him.
Save him? I think maybe the doc is going to save us before we get through.
Oh, stop that laughing. I'm worried.
You don't want to see the doctor get hurt, Senorina Rossi, eh?
Of course I don't.
Hey, you know, I think you very much in love.
I don't know.
You don't know? That's very funny. Always the girl she don't know. Not the much she don't know.
Well, maybe I am a little.
Sure. Just a little. Look here, Senorina Rossi. A girl don't love a little. Either she loves all over herself or she don't love at all. Mario knows all about it.
Mario knows too much. Were you ever in love, Mario?
Was Mario ever in love, Senorina? You should ask me that.
Well, were you?
Senorina, you should be ashamed. Look, how you think I get all these scars on my face? How you think I can give you such a good advice, huh? How you think I'm so happy all the time? Senorina, Mario in love. Mario's in love all the time.
With the same girl?
With the same girl? Oh, no. That's different. You didn't ask me that. What for I gotta be in love with the same girl? That's no fun.
Mario, you're priceless.
Well, sure, what do you mean by that, the priceless? You think Mario worth no price, eh?
Oh, on the contrary, Mario. Mario, look.
What's the matter now?
That house up there. That's the one, I'm sure of it.
What makes you so sure?
Didn't I hear Captain Otis describe it to Dr. Danfield?
Yeah, but how you so sure?
Well, look. That car parked in front. That's Dr. Danfield.
The car... Hey, that's right. That's the doctor's automobile, all right. Come on. We go up in the seat, huh?
Oh, no. We don't want to do that. They'll hear us and be ready.
Then what do you think we're going to do, Senorina Rossi?
Let's park our car in the bushes here and sneak up.
Sneak up? That's a very good idea, Mr. Rossi. We sneak up just like the Indian red man, huh? Something fun, eh, Mr. Rossi?
Professor, I gotta hand it to you. Yes, sir, I gotta hand it to you. You done all right for yourself.
You're very flattering, Trixie. And now about the proposition you mentioned a little while ago.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, the proposition. Professor, how much dough is in that small change purse of yours?
Oh, possibly 10 G's.
Just like that, huh? 10 G's and you don't bat an eye. Oh, Professor, you kill me. Now, look. You see that bag sticking out from under the couch?
Not unlike my own.
It's just like it. What's in it's just like what's in yours, too. Only there's more.
More?
Yeah. There's more than 15 grand in that satchel, Professor.
You don't say.
Yeah, I'm saying it. You add that 15 with the 10 you got, it's a pretty good stake. Doesn't it, Professor?
Indeed it does. Yes. Yes, a very good stake, Trixie.
You get it, Professor? We start out with 25 grand, see? You and me together. We take it from there together.
But look here, Trixie, since I have only 10...
Oh, sure. So I chip in 5 more than you. Okay, you got brains, you got fancy talk, you're a smart operator. I need a guy like you, Professor. We could go places. Is it a deal?
It's very fair of you, Trixie, but there's one little item I'm afraid you've forgotten.
Yeah?
Yes. Nick.
Nick? Oh, don't be dumb, Professor. You and me know how to handle guys like Nick. Why, when somebody gets in our way, we...
Man, a babe sneaking up through the woods.
You're crazy.
No, I ain't. I seen them. They're coming up. They're cops.
Oh, shut up. Huh. Hey, Professor, come here.
See something, Trixie?
Oh, say I do. Look out there.
Out where? Heavens,
Is there something wrong, Professor?
Throw away that gun, Trixie. You can't...
Friends of yours, huh?
There's some associates of mine. What's that? Sounds as though they're coming from the next room.
Yeah, it did.
Yeah, it's a state trooper. Maybe he's getting loose. Should I go look, Trixie? Oh,
How did you know about him?
Well, I heard it in the, rather in the newspapers, but it on the radio.
You never. It wasn't in no newspapers and it wasn't on the radio. Trixie, this...
Shut up, Nick. So, Mr. Professor, you thought you could put one over on Trixie Talbot, huh?
Trixie, I think the time has come for us to be frank with each other.
Yeah. Nick.
Yeah, Trixie.
Take care of them two outside. Run out the back way and don't ask any questions.
Stay here, Nick. If you do as Trixie says, you'll regret it, I warn you.
Pipe down, you. Go on, Nick. Do like I said.
Listen, Trixie. Maybe this...
You gonna obey orders, Nicky boy?
Oh, I'm going, Trixie. You don't have to get sore.
Now, Professor, this is gonna be a pleasure.
Is it? Why not make it doubly pleasurable by first permitting me to explain who I am?
For a guy who's gonna be knocked off, you got a nerve, mister. Who are you, anyway?
The name is Danfield, Dr. Daniel Danfield. See, I've made a business of studying unusual types of criminals, such as you, Trixie, and I find...
Well, that takes care of your friend, Dr. Danfield. So I'm an unusual type, am I?
Indeed you are, Trixie. However, I might say that your associate, Nick, is much more unusual. As a matter of fact, he's a type...
That you, Nick? Come on in. I want you to hear this. This guy says that you're a...
I'm sorry, Trixie. The gentleman approaching us from behind is not Nick.
No, don't try to kid me, Tommy. All right, Nick. Nick, speak up.
Very funny. He thinks that my name is
Why,
Nick.
you!
If fights are good, Doc? Maybe I've fallen in love with her. In a moment, we'll return for the conclusion of Danger Dr. Danfield. But first... And now for the conclusion of... Danger Dr. Danfield. And this incident, of course, concluded the case. Definitely proved my foregoing statement that outside agencies frequently influence the actions of the criminal mind. Something wrong, Miss Fairfax?
Yes. I hope you don't expect your lecture classes to believe that.
Believe what, Miss Fairfax?
That it was a woman who influenced Nick to turn bank robber.
Miss Fairfax, it was. If it hadn't been for Trixie's influence, Nick would have never been... What, Miss Fairfax?
I said not. He never influenced men to do anything. Men are too stubborn and ornery and...
Miss Fairfax, I'm about to prove your theory untrue.
Oh, you are?
Yes. Would you mind stepping this way a moment?
What do you want?
Miss Fairfax, I'd intended spending the afternoon in the library studying. Would you
influence me against it?
Would I? Do you mean like that?
Yes, Miss Fairfax. Very satisfactory. Well, get your hat. We're going places.
Thanks for joining us tonight. We'll be back again next Sunday. We broadcast from 8 to 11 p.m. Central Time. Until next time, sleep tight. This is a production of Lobato Studios, Sao Paulo, Brazil.